What's up, tricksters and tricksetters, and welcome to another Tier 3 sub VOD review presented by our favorite Radiant coach, Charlatano Papito. Today we have Pudding at the coaching table. He is a Jett main, playing on Haven, in the Bronze 3 rank and elo. I know, it's a low elo VOD review. Might not be the most fun for most of you guys, but I promise I'm always covering the stuff that every single low elo player should do. So no matter if you're playing in bronze, platinum, diamond, whatever, all of the stuff that I'm gonna teach this guy, you can probably use all the way up to Ascendant 1. Now let's see what our friend Pudding told us here. Hey coach, hello. A bit about me, I'm mid-30s, had around 150 to 200 hours on and off. Peaked Silver 1 a year ago, and recently picked up Valorant again and sitting at Bronze 3, aiming to hit Platinum or eventually higher if I don't lose interest in from rank anxiety, etc. in Valorant. Now, let's talk about, your age for a bit. I really like when people, that is the first thing I ask people when I coach them. How old are you, where are you from, and how much free time you have to play this game? So, listen, I've coached an enormous amount of players that are in between 30 and 45. Now, most of these players, I didn't coach on Jett, because your mechanics, especially after 30, start to fall off significantly. And maybe not the best agent, considering your current strengths and weaknesses as a player. Now, that is just generalization, which I don't like to do. Every player is different, every player is in its own league. Maybe you're a demon, because there's a few players that reached Radiant on Jett, 36, 37 years old. Like, we also have one in our chat, occasionally, JK Dubai. Yeah, I remember all of your names. Think about it. We're gonna see in this VOD, we're gonna see if Jett is actually the right solution for you, and if, what you should actually do. Now, still, the beauty of Valorant is the following. Any imbecile can be at least Immortal 3 in this game. You don't need to have arms, you don't need to have legs, you just need to play Valorant based on your strengths and weaknesses and abuse everything that this beautiful game is giving to you. Which means that for a player like you, versatility is going to be the key factor, and yes, you should probably play some agent that is versatile, but we're going to see, in the VOD, what type of player you are actually. Been gaming since I was 13, 20 years ago. Started with CS, mainly abusing AWP and crouch spraying scoped AUG without learning the game. That sounds like fun. Played tons of other games since then, and other competitive peak ranked main are as follows. Overwatch, Platinum and Soldier 77, Tracer and Solo Farah main. League of Legends, Platinum, RV, Vi, Jarvan main. Okay. Listen. Now, one thing that you mentioned here that I don't like is, you already set you already set for yourself, some kind of a goal that is undermining you. For every single player in Valorant, no matter what is your current state, no matter at which level you're playing right now, you're aiming to hit Radiant. And even if your goal is something lower, you're not gonna feel dissatisfied if you don't hit Radiant. As a 40-year-old player, probably hitting Immortal is gonna feel mega satisfying to you. But always look in the long run. Don't set these small goals. You should still celebrate them, be happy about it, that you got Platinum, that you got Gold, that you got Diamond, whichever achievement you got. But look in a long run. Now, my tendency in other games are pretty aggressive, dive-based, and fast-paced, and often losing focus discipline. That's already a problem that we need to take a look into. I have most playtime with Omen, Sova, and Clove, but sadly I do not seem to be doing too well with them. Okay. Ever since looking at your agent recommendation video, I'm giving Jett a serious try in the second half of this season, which I guess is a good thing considering the incoming utility nerfs. Yes, considering the last update in Valorant. I mean, all of the agents that can abuse variety of weapons, variety of playstyles, like movement type of characters, really got a significant buff. Like Omen, Jett, Raze, Valet, Chamber, all of that, all of those characters. Now, regardless of what is the meta in Valorant, or like what like other people are doing, or you know what's happening in this game, you should still play, especially in low elo and medium elo, purely based on your strengths and weaknesses. Like, you don't really care what is the meta or what's going on at that skill level. Like, the only thing that you care about is which playstyle and which agents suit me the best, and with which playstyle and agents I'm gonna be the most valuable for my teammates and have the highest solo carry impact. And that's it. Please kindly advise me which role agent might fit my natural tendencies and to further focus on. Okay, we're gonna talk about it. Okay, we have a tracker, we have a video, Jett okay, this is Jett Haven actually, right? Jett, oh, Sunset. Okay, my bad. I don't know, it said it's Haven, it's actually Sunset, it's not Haven. Okay, setup 2K 144Hz 27-inch monitor. Listen, now this is not that important to you, but I just want to give my general opinion when it comes to your monitor. 27-inch monitors for FPS games are pain in the ass. 2K is amazing. You know, 144Hz, more than enough for you to even reach Radiant, to be honest. Depending on how good is your monitor and, you know, other stuff. It doesn't matter that much. But 27-inch. I played on the Asus 27-inch for more than a year. Around a year. Brother. Like, keeping the track of the minimap. Keeping the track of the angles with a peripheral vision. Like, I need to put my monitor so far back to be able to see everything. And especially as a player that is already probably struggling with some levels of map awareness, I would never recommend to anyone playing CS2 and Valorant on a monitor that is above 24 inches. You lose so much information from the screen, it is insanity. But on the other hand, like when you play on a 2K monitor, brother, these heads and angles are crisp. Like, it's like a whole new world, essentially. Like when you're holding tight angles, when you're fighting enemies in a long range fight, I can actually see pixels. You know, actually, I can actually see heads instead of the pixels. So, essentially, I would advise you that you know, you don't, like, if you're deciding which monitor to get for Valorant, go for 24, 25 inch, like some good Zavi monitor, like 144, 240 Hz, like whatever. Now, EDPI 512. Okay, we're gonna see about that. Like, you know, playing on 0.32 sensitivity and 1600 DPI. That's okay for Overwatch and Rivals, you know, for League of Legends. But for Valorant, you're far above that threshold that is necessary for this game. Like, personally, I just don't see a value playing this game like above 360 EDPI. Like, there's absolutely no value. Because at this DPI, you can do 180 degrees flick without any efforts already. This is like the upper threshold for every player in this game. And the lowest threshold is usually around 160 EDPI. Like, that is probably where your main sensitivity and the perfect sensitivity for you lays at this moment of time. So, unless you're some kind of a zoomer and playing Neon, I don't see a reason to play on a 512 EDP. And it can just fuck up your aim completely, especially as you're getting older. Like, you know, doing these micro corrections and adjustments can be pain in the ass. So we're gonna see about that, like, you know, how much that is impacting you. at this moment of time. From my own view, I think my main weakness might include... there's nothing for you to think, to be honest. Like, as a player that is Bronze 3, Silver 1, like, you have enormous amount... You have a lot of things to work on, you know? Like, first thing that you should work on at such a low skill level is game knowledge. Like, understanding proper positioning, proper refrag game, proper movement, proper scaling, reading the enemies a bit here and there, playing with your allies on a proper refrag potential, and being there for them to assist them, to make them live a happy life, and the list goes on. Then decision making, and then mechanical skill. Now, of course, like, we're gonna take a deeper look into your gameplay and see what you're lacking the most. But, you know, over peaking, very common for low elo players. Like, usually low elo players just see blood in their eyes. I mean, not only low elo, like every player in Valorant. Yeah, probably that is gonna fuck you up a lot of the times. Weak at long range fights. You know why you might be weak on long range fights? Because of your sensitivity. Like, especially in a long range fights, like, you know, you're just doing some small micro corrections, micro flicks, for which you definitely don't need 512 EDPI. Like, I mean, let me test it in the game. Like, literally, that is insanity, bro. That is mega fast. So what is that like on once? So on my DPI 016. Okay. Are you gay, sir? Not for now. I'll update you about that in the future. When I become. But I mean, this is pretty insane, to be honest. Like, literally, you can do 180. You can do a 180-degree flick with just a small flick. I mean, it is still manageable, but I don't see a reason for going this high, you know? I mean, we'll see. Once again, like, when I do these VOD reviews, like, I always give some kind of a training to the players that I coach. So, based on your weaknesses, you're probably going to get some aim training anyways. Lack of communication. Communication in Valorant is should not be your highest priority. Like, literally, especially in low elo, most of the times your teammates are not going to listen to you. Like, even if you tell them what to do. What is very important in low elo is that you can communicate and compensate your teammates' mistakes without actually saying a word. Like, listen. When is it really important that you lead your teammates? First 4 rounds on the attacker side, when they're making some micro mistakes in terms of utility usage positioning that's going to cost you the round, and when you need a very specific thing from your allies. Now, in low elo, 50% of times, your teammates are going to listen to you, 50% of times they won't. And that's, you know, that is applied for every rank in this game, because Valorant players are lacking the most communication, you know, normal human decency. You know, they don't have humanity anymore. This game sucked the soul out of them. So, basically, let me give you a few tips. So, first of all, especially on the attacker side, when you want your teammates to do something on a macro level, pick up the spike, tell them what to do, and go with the spike there. And that's it. Most of the time, they will follow you up if you do that, especially with Jett. If they see Jett with a spike going somewhere, if they have an inch of a brain, there is a chance they follow you. If they don't, never mind, we adapt to them, and that's it. Now, second tip. When it comes to, like, giving comms, no matter at which skill level you're playing, your comms need to be understandable, even for an iron player. If you think that an iron player cannot understand the strategy that you're doing, or a tactic that you want to do, or what type of push you want to do, and you need to explain, like, yourself in 6 paragraphs, fuck it, 2 sentences maximum in ranked solo queue. And that is already pushing it a bit. Because most of the times, it goes through one ear, exit through another one, and, you know, you need to repeat it 3, 4, 5 times, and you don't have that much time in preparation phase anyways. When it comes to arguing with your allies, if you have some kind of a better idea than your teammates, like, you need to give them some valid reason why they should listen to you. And when it comes to some pointless arguments, you should always avoid them. Arguing with the people online, but you need to be unemployed or mentally unstable. Like, as soon as your teammates are toxic or they have, like, you know, they're not giving you any valid call-outs or something, mute all of them and continue with your game. The reason why I don't mute people in high elo, because most of the times, even if they're toxic, they're gonna give me some info. One guy is here, one guy is there, 2 people, B-man, A-man, like, that's the only reason. But if your teammates are just playing toxic, like just focus on your game, focus on how you can get the most out of that match, and how you can adapt yourself to your current allies that you've got. Now, you know, the most important team is that you need to navigate in ranked solo queue, especially as a duelist main in low elo, is the controllers. Like, what type of smokes you're going to be getting is going to decide how much success you're going to find. So, every low elo player, no matter which role you're maining, you should learn, like, every smoke setup for every single situation, every single execute, so, you know, so that you don't end up on the B set of Sunset with this type of a smoke setup, for an example. Like, tell them, you know, which smokes you need, and everything else is your secondary priority. Controlling, you know, your secondary duelist, sentinels, initiators, etc., in a low elo, of course. Now, trying too hard to fight against execute on site. Usually, the best idea in low elo lobbies is the following, all the way up to Ascendant 1. If you're fighting for you start somewhere, so you're playing Sunset, and you started on A set, let's say in the B main area of the map. Your job is to abuse as many safe fights to potentially get a kill before you give up the whole site and play retake. Like, in the perfect world, there should not be a single round, unless it's some kind of an eco round, where you're willing to trade yourself for kills, and where you're willing to sacrifice yourself to, you know, fully stop the enemy's push alone. Because most of the times, you won't be able to do that. And in a perfect world, you should just get one pick, some damage onto the enemies, wait for the cavalry to arrive, and play the retakes together with your allies. So, if you're playing Jett, okay, we can start in the B-main. Enemies are pushing. Get an off angle like this with a dash ability. Get away with the dash ability. On this position, we can hold some safe, tight angle, or just jiggle pick this position, go for 1 bullet, 3 bullets, try to kill 1 more enemy. Then, fall back into the spawn, get on this angle, try to kill maybe 1 more enemy there. You abused 3 different positions, 3 different angles, to potentially get a kill. If you got a kill, amazing. We're playing a 5v4 retake, no problemo. If you didn't get a kill, but you applied some damage onto the enemies, still good. Still totally fine. But if every single time when you're defending a site, let's say enemies have, like, I don't know, what enemies have in this match? They have Sky, Vele, Reyna, Sage, and Clove. So, listen, you know, you're playing a lone B set, for example, with Jett. They have, like, 2 Sky Flashes. They have a Sky Dog. They have the 2 Reyna Leers. The Vele hindering ability to push you back as well. Medal from Clove. Like, you cannot... Sometimes you just cannot fight. But your job on a defender side should also be to waste as much utility from the enemy team so that you can play easier retakes as well. So the worst thing you can do in Valorant is, of course, starting way too passively. Like starting at the backside and giving all of this space for free. That's bad, always. But also, even worse thing that you can do is forcing 50-50 fights that don't work in your favor, where you're not fighting with your teammates on refrag potential, dying alone, and yeah, you're always leaving your teammates in a 4v5, 3v5, 2v5, 1v5, I don't know, some kind of a disadvantage, retakes. So yeah. Now, mid-fight, I sometimes lose track of what to do, such as not separating enemies and doing 1v1 a few times when defending. Mid-round, you mean? I sometimes lose track of what to do, such as not separating enemies and doing 1v1 a few times when defending. Okay, we're gonna take a look at that because I'm not completely certain, like, what do you mean by this? I mean, I understand, but we're gonna see in the VOD review anyways. Some examples. Also, my lineup entry knowledge is lacking and is considering specializing into an agent or two and improve them. Listen, if you want to stick with Jett and you decide to stick with Jett, you don't need to look any further than my rank playbook on Discord. I've covered every single map for Jett, every single aggressive and safe execute and pathing that exists on every map in the game. So it's very straightforward, very simple. That should be the first point for you to develop your own playbook. Now, of course, like, my playbook is not, you know, your peak of Valorant or the final thing that you should look into. It's a good starting position. And then slowly you can expand it based on your playstyle, based on how you love to play the game, based on some other players as well. You can try to maybe mimic some playstyles that are better for you. Okay, let's take a look at the Pudding's tracker, I guess. Like, usually I love doing these tracker reviews at the end of the VOD review, but since there's not much info here, you know, like, let's just take a look at this. First of all, your playtime is really low, man. You know? Like, especially after this VOD review, I'm probably gonna give you some kind of a training. Some kind of aim training as well. Some solutions that you'll have to apply within your gameplay. Like, if you want to see some serious improvements and faster improvements, you should play minimum 1 ranked match per day, considering how much time you don't have to play this game. To keep, you know, some levels of consistency and to keep yourself in the game. Like, the minimal optimal amount of games, if you're really serious about Valorant, is playing 3 ranked matches per day. If you don't have time to play 3 ranked matches per day every single day, as an average player, you're already falling behind. And you cannot expect that you get from, I don't know, bronze to immortal within a year. Even a year is, you know, if you do that with a low playtime, you're already far above average. So, try to bump the playtime a bit more, you know? What's really good for you is that you just started playing Valorant. You know, you're basically, you have only 80 hours in ranked, and you're still a newcomer. You probably still have a willpower to grind this game. You're probably still considering Valorant fun. I mean, to be honest, like, if I started playing Valorant today, this is the best FPS game ever. But unfortunately, I started playing it 6 years ago, so, you know, it kind of wears off a bit. So, while you're still fresh, and once you receive all of this content after the VOD review, try to bump up the playtime a bit more, you know, tell your wife and kids, listen, leave me alone, gotta get that Radiant for the family, you know? You have more important things to attend. Now, listen, considering your overall playtime, being in Bronze 3 is, and reaching Silver 1 here, it's actually okay. You know? You're pretty average, which is okay. You still have a long way to go, enormous amount of things to learn, and it's really good that you got this VOD review right now, because it's always easier navigating a new player in a proper direction, rather than recorrecting the problems of a player that has been stuck for the last 3, 4, 5 years. Like, those players are the hardest to coach. These newcomers, easy peasy. Like, follow everything that I'm gonna recommend you to follow. I promise to you, Platinum is gonna be like a joke to you in a few weeks or months from now. So, reaching Platinum, more than achievable, and I think in 2 months, if you follow the training, aim training as well, and some of these tips, you'll be totally fine. Now, the problem with your tracker is that I really don't have that many informations to work with. You know, like this act, you played like 47 matches, which is fine. So, from this tracker, this is just a regular, you know, average tracker of an average player that just started playing the game. Like, your mechanics, we can definitely see they're not the best. Everything is like, you know, pretty shaky a bit. Now, considering your headshot percentage and some of the other stats, you are dealing a significant amount of damage every single round. But probably what you're lacking right now is like, you know, some consistent training, consistent playtime, and consistent like mechanical training as well, with which you can improve. And of course, the versatility is very important in this low... Listen, in low elo, like when you're playing Jett, Omen, all of these movement characters, characters with some outplays, all the way to Ascendant 1, you can carry the matches without touching a one-tap weapon. Like, you can literally go to Ascendant 1 with a fucking shorty. That's how easy it is. So, already now, I would recommend you to take a look into this. You know? Like, basically, you just started playing Valorant. Started getting better. Started your journey. The best moment of time for you to test different weapons, different playstyles, and different solutions. It's better for you to make mistakes now than later. Especially for a player like you, like with huge experience and also, you know, a bit of an unk. You will need a help of these different tools 100%. 1,000,000%. You know, touch a bit of a Marshall in some of these anti-eco rounds. A bit of a Bucky when you have extra credits. You don't want to buy the shorty in those eco rounds on both attack and defense. Odin, why not? Like, I mean, there's so many spammable maps and positions. Like, literally every map in Valorant is made out of paper. Outlaw, you know, anti-eco rounds when enemies, when you see that 3 or more enemies don't have enough credits. That's a terrible number 3. 3 enemies cannot buy a heavy shield. You can just mow them down with the body shots and take them out of the server. Spectre, Shorty, Judge, you know, Bulldog, Operator. Try to play everything. You know? Every weapon, especially in low elo, can be a potential solution for a specific team comp, map, or round. Now, when it comes to Phantom versus Vandal, I really, you know, that's always a personal preference. But for some reason, you are playing a bit better with a Vandal, but you only have 39 kills on a Vandal, so you're not even maining a Vandal. The borderline is that you should learn how to play with both of these weapons. You know, you should train with it, with both of them in a deathmatch practice range. But you should have a preference. You know, every single player should have a preference, like based on your playstyle and shooting style and generally how you position. Phantom or Vandal. Personally, I like Vandal more. Why? Because I love to hold very tight angles. And when you hold these tight angles, especially medium and long range, Phantom is just not good enough. Like, I don't have a one-tap potential. But you can just choose whatever you want. Now, this is actually not terrible for a player of your caliber. You know, like, pistol rounds are on top, which, you know, basically the order of your rounds is perfect. Like, this is how your order of rounds and economy should look like in Valorant. Like, pistol rounds on top, full bar rounds, semi-eco. But the problem is, like, in these eco rounds, you don't exist. And as a Jett player, it should be very easy for you to trade yourself for maybe at least 1 kill. With a shorty, with a Bucky, with some shit weapon like that. Dashing into the enemies with a classic pistol and triple-shotting them to oblivion. And, of course, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, like, it's not like your performance is at some godlike levels. You can still get far better, obviously. And also, one problem that I didn't speak about is that, as you said, it kind of seems that you're taking a lot of the fights that you don't need to take. Like, somehow you're able to output 142 ADR per round, and you still have a negative KD. Like, that should be almost impossible. Because with 142 ADR, like, you practically have a kill and a half every single round. So I don't see why you wouldn't be able to maintain above 1 or even higher KD. Especially when we take a look at your KST. I mean, like, obviously you're dying alone quite a lot. And we need to be more disciplined, as you already said and mentioned. Now, when it comes to the agents that you play, as I said, we're going to take a look at the VOD and we'll decide what you should main at the end of this VOD review. Considering these stats, like, sure, I mean, looks like Jett kinda works for you better than anything else. Jett is still one of the 3 musketeers when it comes to ranked solo queue grind and improvement of players. So, yeah, we'll see. You know, it doesn't look that bad for you. And of course, like, I mean, I cannot expect that these stats are gonna be good for you, considering other statistics. Like, obviously in clutch scenarios we can do something better. You need to develop your situational awareness, decision making, all of that good stuff. Last deaths, you know, you're dying quite a lot during your rounds and games. Let me just take a look at something. Okay. So you kinda... I mean, listen. Both attackers and defender side for you can be a lot better. Like, obviously, like, you know, as a Bronze 3 player, like, you can learn a lot of the new stuff. But it's kind of a miracle that on the attacker side, you have a higher round win percentage than on defense. Like, in low elo lobbies, it is much easier for you to control the outcome of your rounds on a defender side. No matter how bad your teammates play and no matter, like, what the fuck they do. Because if you're just predicting where the enemies are gonna go, what they're gonna do, if you adapt your playstyle based on how enemies are playing, you can almost always be the first contact, get some numbers advantage for your team, and play a proper refrag game. Like, generally speaking, in ranked solo queue, like, most of your games, you win or lose on a defender side. So having a strong defender side is very important. And on attack, like, I mean, it's kind of a miracle that with 0.94 KD and 72% KST and some of these other stats, you have a 53.3% round win percentage. I guess we're making some space for our team, but we're definitely dying a lot. And not having enough, you know, solo impact. Okay, pretty standard for a Bronze 3 player, like, and for a newcomer, like, really, we don't need to dive any deeper into this tracker review. Okay, now we are on a defender side of Sunset. Bronze, Jett on Sunseto. So, how do we play Sunset on the defender side? First of all, Sunset is, and should be, a fast rotation map for you. Basically, in every single round, especially in low elo lobbies, you prioritize team play over the map control. You're always trying to pick the fights together with your allies, and to fight in areas where your teammates are basically fighting, as much as you can. Now, on this map, generally speaking, you don't give a crap about B site and A site control. Now, what do I mean by that? So, if you're getting overwhelmed by the enemy's utility, by the enemy's 5-man executes, like, there should never be a moment of time when you're playing the full buy rounds, and the first round as well, where you just commit to some kind of a 50-50 fight. Like, yes, you should abuse as many, you know, 90-10, 70-30, some fights that work in your favor, or fights that are safe for you, but committing to a 50-50, especially in low elo, no need. No, we can play 5v5 retakes at any moment of time. Now, on this map, you always prioritize the market and top mid control over anything else. Especially in low elo. If your teammates lose, or you lose, the market control, or the top mid control, only God knows what's gonna happen. And if your teammates are gonna be aware of all of the possible flanks, lurks, timings, etc, etc. Now, another rule that we follow on this map is that market doors should always be closed when you're not fighting for the mid control. And when you're rotating from B set all the way to A set. Why? Very simple. We don't want to give enemies one additional choke point through which they can lurk, flank, backstab us, etc, etc. And the final rule on this map is that every single round where, that you're playing on Sunset, we cannot be giving to the enemy's team all of this space right here for free. Like, we need to have the info. How many enemies are B main, how many enemies are mid, how many enemies are A main, and enemies cannot walk up all the way here, 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 without you getting any contact with the enemy team. Now, the first 4 rounds of Sunset, you can play passively. We can play in some kind of a default way and just, play a bit more passively. Like, we don't need to fight for the space early on. But from the 5th round, you need to make a decision. Is the passive playstyle working for you? If the answer is yes, you don't need to change anything. If the answer is no, like basically enemies always easily end up on the bomb sites. They like to flank, they like to lurk, they like to split, they like to fake. We need to fight for something. Either A main, mid, or B main. If you don't know what you should fight for, just take the full A main control with a one-way smoke in your teammates, and then we can just leave one guy defending A site while the rest of the team is fighting for this space right here. Now, on this map, kind of like your default position in a default bomb site is like market and top mid. Like on this map, you can just prioritize these 2 areas of the map to play fast rotations, to support your teammates everywhere, and you're starting in the, around the B main and A main when you think enemies are gonna go there. Or if you want to fight for that area of the map a bit more aggressively based on some kind of a read that you had from the previous rounds. So in the first round with Jett on Sunset, you have a lot of different options that you can do. And which option you want to abuse really depends on your playstyle and what you prefer as a player. Basically, I'm not going to force you to do anything that you don't like doing or anything that basically is not suitable for your playstyle. Now, let me just refill my cup. If you want a bit deeper explanation of this map and how to position, how to path and stuff like that, just take a look at my ranked playbook. You are a tier 3 Discord sub on our Discord server. You can learn everything there. Now, so in the first one with Jett, you should always start defending the B set and market. Basically, we need to close the market doors as soon as the round starts. And then, as I said, like, you have a lot of different options. Option number 1, you can literally get a sheriff. And if the enemies are pushing the B main area of the map, you can try playing some kind of an off angle, such as this one with the dash ability. Try to get a pick, dash back. Then you can get in a market, try to spam the enemy, fight with your teammates, period. Done. It really doesn't matter. Option number 2, my favorite option, is abusing the ghost and shorty strategy. So basically you buy the shorty, drop it at the backside, and then with the ghost, you contest the enemies in the B main area of the map. Like if the enemies are pushing B main, you're trying to catch them on some kind of an off angle and to catch them based on timing. Like maybe, you can play some shit like this, try to kill the enemies and get them out of the server. Maybe you can hide behind this cover, wait for the enemies to use their flashes and abilities, activate the dash ability, bob up, dash away, and essentially what you're trying to do is get at the backside, bait the enemies additionally, and then when the enemies are pushing you, just delete them with a shorty left or right, and you can get away with like maybe 1, 2, 3 kills before you give up the site completely. You can play it even safer. It's no problem. Like if you hear the enemies pushing B, you can take this as your first angle, try to get a kill, then with the dash ability, try to get another kill, then you can jiggle pick the enemies and, you know, on timing try to get a few more kills, and then once again with a shorty just shove it up into the enemy's anal cavity, and in low elo you should be good for at least one kill by doing this. If the enemies are going B, just a fast rotation through the spawn, you're helping your if the enemies are rushing A, fast rotation through the spawn, and you are helping your teammates on the A side. Now let's see what's going to happen to you. Okay, listen. If you already decide to start in the B main area of the map, and your team is not fighting for the mid control, tell one of your teammates that is starting with you on B to close the market doors. You know, tell this Sage brother, can you please shut down the doors? And let's see, you know, what you're gonna do now. I understood everything. This is not something I would actually recommend you for the first round. Like, basically, okay, I mean, we could have gotten a kill there if we aimed a bit better, but usually in this low elo, like, what are the players in low elo most unaware of? They're unaware of off angles, peaks at random timings. Generally, timings are really bad for the low elo players, and just forcing these type of fights, you can do it, but in the first 4 rounds, especially with Jett, you always want to do some kind of a cheesy type of shit. Like something that these type of players are not gonna expect at all. Such as, for an example, okay, our Sage can hold this wall. Okay, she can wall us off later. But first, you know, like, let the enemies maybe peek this angle, come in the B main area of the map, and then with the dash ability, bop, delete that guy. And then Sage can wall off, maybe she can get on top of the wall, and surprise the enemies. Especially if you're planning to play this passively on the B side, like just go for one tap, and then back off onto the side. Instead of buying a smoke, you get a shorty at the backside. Like, enemies in low elo just are completely unaware of shorty existence in this game. And any map where you can abuse the shorty to get one free kill in the first round, you should do it. I don't know where you're going right now. Like, I mean, we heard like 2-3 enemies in the B mid. Your teammates have the full mid control. Right now, you should be at the backside playing with your Sage. Because if the enemies smoke you off, and Sage gets cut off and play alone on the bomb site, that's not gonna end up well. Like, as long as you have one teammate on the side, you can fight with that guy. No problem. You don't need to commit yourself into some 50-50 fights or fight alone. You can use that guy to fight together on the same angles. But now, you know, if you get smoked off here, enemies push you back by, I don't know, Clove Medal, Sky Dog or something, your Sage is not gonna have a fun time there. And also, why are we not abusing some secondary angle to maybe get another kill? You know, this position is pretty safe, especially if you hold it tight. You can go for 2 more taps before you decide to play passively. Now, another very important tip for the first 4 rounds on any map, any elo, any rank. Only play on the information that you have at that moment of time. Now, what does that mean? Like, in the first 4 rounds, you really want to play on numbers. You really want to gamble smart. You really want to play some structured type of Valorant that is based on statistics, average player's mentality, and based on the map that you're playing. Like, you don't want to guess right now if enemies are going to go back. You don't want to guess right now, like, if maybe enemies have a lurk or flank. Or whatever the fuck. Like, just play based on info that you have. Like, right now you have the info that at least 3 enemies are in the B main. Sure. The smartest idea right now is to just fight with a Sage. And that's it.
Don't rotate yet. In.
Now listen, like this angle is a terrible angle overall. Especially for the first round. Like, why are you even here? Okay, this fight that you took with a Vele was okay because Vele was the one that is in a huge disadvantage at this moment of time. You know, like she dashed in without any smokes, any cover, any abilities. Like we could have gotten that kill. But as soon as you finish this fight, let's reposition. That's another mistake that generally all of the players from Iron 1 to Diamond 3 make a lot. Like you take a fight in Valorant. Reposition. Keep your location a secret. Like right now, enemy Reyna, everybody in the enemy team knows that you're on the right side. And they're gonna be fighting you. Like, okay, Vele went back, no problem. Now, we can get on this angle right here. Enemy smoke us off. Maybe we can spam them through the smoke a bit. Wait for our teammates to get a contact with the enemies from the backside. And then, from this smoke, we can pop off and maybe play some crossfire setup with our KO and Sage from the backside. Also, this angle right here is terrible. Essentially, like, you're in a huge angle perception disadvantage. And on this position, you only play if you have a dash ability, if you have the close range weapons and you just want to delete the enemies that are scaling up like this. And that's it. Like, you cannot play this angle in the way that you did. Okay. Like, there's so many different options that you could have used. Like, at this moment of time. And better options as well. First of all, you see why I tell you that in the first 4 rounds you should only play on the info that you have. No reason to rotate, no reason to reposition. Like, we know that 3 or 4 enemies are in the B main. Fuck it. Our Reyna is also on the lurk on the flank. Like, you know, we can bait for her. Wait for her to do something. And instead of forcing these 50-50 fights, maybe we could have baited the enemies with a ghost. With a shorty, delete, you know, this Sage and these 2 enemies that are going through this narrow choke point. Play a proper refrag game with our teammates, you know, on the site. Like, generally speaking, this position right here is a really, really bad position to play when you have teammates on the bomb site. Most of the times, you will be rendered useless to fight with your allies. The only time I would play somewhere here is if I have, you know, Judge Bucky Stinger, and I know I need to go for some kind of a suicide play to, you know, just trade myself for a few kills. Like, I don't know, like, in this specific round, I have only a shorty. Okay, I'm gonna play here. You know? In the smoke, enemies go for a plant. I can try to trade myself for 1 kill, make some pressure, potentially pick up the gun from the dead enemies and maybe get another kill. But in the first round, like, the worst thing that can happen for you in the first round is that you die first. Like, you're just spectating at that moment of time what your teammates are doing and how they are losing the round for you. Like, you need to play a bit more reserved these first rounds. Like, play on some refrag potential, some crossfire setups, some off angles, abuse the dash ability, shorty, some elevated positions. Like, at the end of the day, on Sunset, if you already want to play with a ghost, get a ghost and updrift, for an example. Okay, we can take, you know, some kind of a fight like this with the enemies. And then as the enemies are scooting in, updrift on this off angle. On this position, enemies don't see you at all. You can dodge all of their recon abilities, flashes, and then when you think that enemies are unaware of you, or they're fighting your teammates from the backside, you peek out, you get 3 kills. It's a 70-30 angle. Like, even if you end up in some kind of a shit fight, like your crosshair is going all over the place, knife out, drop down, reset yourself, and decide whether or not you want to fight the enemies through here, or you want to rotate back to spawn and play from your teammates at the backside.
Last player standing. 1 enemy remains.
Crazy round. Okay, Now, second round of Sunset, no matter what happens in the first round, you always start in the market. And once again, around, the B side. So if you win the first round, in the second round of Sunset, you have a lot of different options. Option number 1, go for the Bulldog Heavy Shield and some utility. Don't close the doors and just, hold the mid. Like, force this type of a fight with the dash ability, try to delete the enemies like that, that's it. You can go for the Outlaw and the best shield possible and utility. You can also go for the Marshal as well, because Sunset is really the map where Operator is really good. Why? It's a very narrow map, very tight map, and you can get away with a lot of different dash type of peaks and just delete the enemies with the Operator. So if you're saying for the Op, you can go with a Marshal, Heavy Shield, and maybe one Smoke. Once again, you can hold this angle, try to kill enemies there. If your enemies are tiles, dash ability, get them out of the server. Stinger is also fine. Stinger and one Smoke, if you want to save the money for the Operator. But I just think that it's going to be easier for you to secure this round with something such as Marshal, Outlaw, or Bulldog. Now, you're making one economy mistake here. In a second... What the fuck? Okay. What is the economy mistake we're making right now? In second round of Valorant, the second anti-eco round, when you win the first round, you're winning primarily based on higher economy that you have over the enemies. And in that second round, unless you want to play Outlaw, you always want to make sure that you have a heavy shield. No matter which weapon you want to buy. If you want to buy something like Bulldog, like Stinger, like Spectre, Marshal, you need to have a heavy shield. Period. Done. You don't want to have light shield in this round, unless you're playing Outlaw, for an example. Because what if one enemy forces, like, Sheriff? Like what? On every distance, you're gonna die from one bullet to the head from a fucking Sheriff. You also remove a possibility of dying from 2 bullets to the head of a classic pistol on these longer ranges as well. Ghost as well, like, heavy shield in a second round is mega important. And you should always get it unless you're playing Outlaw, because you're not gonna have money for Outlaw and heavy shield most of the time. Now, if you already get a Stinger for this second round, I would just recommend you that you close the market doors and instantly run top mid and play fast rotations between A and B. And that's it. Because with the Stinger, you're not going to be forcing, this type of medium range and long range fights.
Let's fly.
Sheriff and Light Shield in a second round, in low elo, is never an option. It's literally never an option. You don't want to rely on 1 bullet to the head or 2 body shots to win this round. Secure this round in the bag. Like, the amount of times that players lose these type of thrifties is enormous in low elo. Like, hear me out. So, right now, 3 of your teammates die on top mid and on the A side. They pick up the Spectre, the Stinger, the Bulldog from your teammates. And you're playing like a 2v4 or 2v3 retake. With a fucking Sheriff and Light Shield. Why did we win the first round if I'm gonna be in some kind of economy disadvantage compared to the enemy team in the second round? Like, you never risk losing the second round. The first 2 rounds we always want to secure. And also we want to have a really good weapon for the third bonus round as well. And once again, if you want to play this, like, Sheriff and Heavy Shield, of course. What if you already have a Light Shield from the first round? Then you play with the Light Shield. Then you play with the Light Shield and Outlaw in a second round. Or Light Shield and Marshal. Because anyways, you can just, go for body shots and win the round. That's fine. Now listen, there's one really good question in the chat, or just statement. Silvers, 50% of round 1 winners don't buy second round. That is why you need to follow the proper economy management. Like in the first 4 rounds of Valorant, you always follow the fundamental rules of economy management in Valorant. You know? No matter what your teammates are doing. It really doesn't matter. And from the round number 4 or 5, you adapt your economy based on what your teammates are doing. But also, you know, that is one part of communication that players in Valorant are missing. Like, you should give economy suggestions to your teammates, especially in the first 4 rounds. Because they don't know any better, you know, especially if you're below Ascendant. Your teammates will be making a lot of economy mistakes. Now, 50% of times, your teammates are going to listen to you. 50% of times, they are not going to listen at all. But it's still better if you try, rather than not trying at all, right? So in this round, you know, tell your teammates, hey guys, let's force up, get those Spectres, get those Stingers, get those Outlaws, Bulldogs out. Let's win this round. We're also going to have a really good weapons for the 3rd bonus round. And then from the 4th round, we play a full buy, and then we manage our economy based on general credits. But then from the round number 4 and 5, basically, you know, from the round number 4 and 5, if your teammates don't want to listen, you're managing your economy based on what they are doing. If your teammates are forcing, you need to force with them. Because there's no, you know, if 3 or 4 of your teammates are forcing, I mean, it's absolutely stupid that you play an eco. Or 3 or 4 of your teammates are saving, it is absolutely stupid that you force buy. Because in the next round, you know, we're going to have a huge, you know, no synchronization at all when it comes to our economy. And you never want that to happen during your ranked games in Valorant. Now, yeah, let's see what's going to happen in this round. Starting in the B-main aggressively again. Okay, we can do it, but we only have a Sheriff, so let's see how this is going to go. This is not bad, actually, what you did here, to be honest. Like, generally speaking, if you're playing the B-main area of the map alone, like, if you don't want to jump spot the enemies, you know, you need to jiggle peek this angle in and out, and occasionally check the left side. But once again, the market door should be closed, and then we can fight for the B-main area of the map. Do you think Jett will be buffed in the next 6 months? I think they're not gonna touch Jett and Raze at all for the next maybe a year or something like that. Because these agents are at a point where if you buff them, they will be too OP. And if you nerf them, they will be way too... They'll just be bad, you know? Like, for example, removing one more smoke from Jett. Or removing one satchel from the Raze. Or something like that. That would be terrible. Is Omen still S+ tier to main after those nerfs of his smoke? Yes. Like, and I explained why. The new agent tier list is coming tomorrow or on Wednesday. It's already up on my Discord server, of course. I don't understand what are you doing when you like you hear 4 or 5 enemies pushing B main. What are we doing right now? Your teammates have the full mid control. Yes, we should have closed the market doors at the start. Your Sage is alone on the bomb site. We want to use this dash ability to try to delete at least one enemy before they start moving into the bomb site. Or to apply some efficient damage that we can use to finish them off later. Now, one thing about low elo, I mean, this is not something I would recommend you, you know, maybe for higher elos or something like that, but when you're using a Sheriff in an anti-eco round, pay attention on the enemy's health, because a lot of times you can just get away with 2 body shots or 1 body shot, and you don't need to go exactly for the headshots in these type of rounds. Okay. You see, right now, instead of closing the doors, which your KO and Clove have been holding for the last, like, 20 seconds, you should be on the side fighting with your Sage. You know, like, basically, okay, your Sage is here, behind the wall. You can play from the backside. Why from the backside? Because we can take every single fight that our Sage is gonna take. Sage gets a contact, dash ability, bam, bam, bam. Reposition. Jump spot the enemies to get the info. We can go bam, bam, bam again. Like this task of closing the doors you should have done at the start of the round. Not now when you know that 4 or 5 enemies are pushing the B main area of the map. Now we hear the enemies running back. Okay, what is the best idea right now? Generally speaking, in ranked solo queue, as I said, in the first 4 rounds, you always play based on information that you have. So we still have the info that potentially some enemies are in the B main area of the map. Second rule that you follow is that you always want to play with the teammates that have the highest chances of dying, especially if you have the true numbers advantage, such as 5v3. So the play that your Reyna is doing is absolutely stupid. No reason to do it. But we should still follow up this Reyna with the dash ability through the smoke and try to make something out of her life. Even if she dies, maybe we can trade her for 1 kill, and you're not risking anything because you still have a dash ability. You can just go for 1 bullet, 2 bullets, and get out. But we need to follow up this guy. As I said, like, in lobbies between Iron 1 and Diamond 3, you can get away with this shit quite a lot of times. Like, just going for body shots instead of going for headshots. Like, all you need to do is, like, be steady with your shots. Don't just spam them. And just move in between your shots. Like, simple as that. Same as with the Marshal. Like, a lot of times in these lower elo lobbies, instead of going for a headshot every time, if you have some kind of a cover, you can just go for the body shots. Hell, I do that in high elo lobbies as well. Like, you can check on my previous streams. In the last two weeks, I started playing Marshal quite a lot. Especially in some eco rounds. And there's a lot of rounds where I don't kill the enemies with the Marshal, but I deal over 300 damage to them. And that 300 damage, my teammates can use to finish off enemies easily and to potentially win that round. And sometimes we even got like some crazy kills, you know, like with a no-scope and stuff like that.
1 enemy remaining.
One bad thing here is dash ability. Even if you're fighting with your teammates, you should still activate it. You know? Whenever there is even a 5% of chance for you to get in a fight with the enemies, activate the dash ability. You know, it's better to be safe rather than sorry. Like, every single time when you're playing Jett and you die during a round where you didn't activate the dash ability at all, you could have done something better. Now, here is one more tip that I just noticed at this moment of time. So, I would change your keybinds. Generally speaking, with movement type of agents, it is always better if you have those movement abilities on your mouse buttons, side mouse buttons, like basically mouse button 3 and 4, I think. Why? So that you have full freedom in your movement. Like right now, your dash ability is on E. And when your dash ability is on E, it's a lot harder for you to dash towards the right side. Like, you need to screw up that index finger in such a stupid way in order to dash right. You don't want to do that. Raise satchels. It's absolutely stupid to have raised satchels on the keyboard. Because you're going to have far more freedom if it is on your right hand. And it's not going to fuck up your aim in any way. Like what? You just click once, twice, and that's it. I use mouse buttons for communication because communication, more than everything, that's also very bad. Because, there are going to be moments of time where you get in a fight with the enemies when you're giving the comms. And what you want to remove from the mouse is any type of a press to hold action. Like, you never want to have abilities or keybinds that are pressed to hold on your mouse. Except zoom in, of course. You know, scope can be, you know, on the right mouse button, and hold is better than toggle. But having comms on the mouse is usually a bad idea. Because like, one of the big... Okay, this is more for the pro play. You know, you're not gonna do this in low elo or medium elo. But one of the... one big difference between a great and a good professional player is how fast and how accurately you can give information to your teammates. And doing that with a, you know, press to hold option on the mouse, it can fuck you up from time to time, depending on your grip style, hand size, mouse that you're using, and other factors.
One enemy remaining.
Okay, next round, a bonus round. We have a Bucky, we have a Sheriff. Let's go. Okay, we should play a bonus. Our teammates are bonusing as well. Now, we come to the third round of Sunset. How do we position in this third round on Sunset? Based on what enemies did in the first two rounds. So, in ranked solo queue, there is enormous amount of rules that we use to predict what the enemies are going to do next. These rules are purely based on ranked solo queue statistics and an average player's mentality in ranked solo queue. But the three most important rules that you should use are the following. So, number one, we obviously have the AB rule. In ranked solo queue, most teams will autopilot a lot, and every round they will try to do something different compared to what they did in the previous round. One round they go A, one round they go B, one round they go C. As soon as you notice that type of a pattern, just start positioning in the opposite way from what they did in the previous round. Rule number two is, of course, the rule of fear. Basically, players in ranked solo queue are usually afraid to repeat their mistakes 2 times in a row. If you punish the enemy somewhere heavily, already in the next round, you can gamble on opposite. And of course, we have the rule of 3 executes. Basically, players in ranked solo queue are almost never going to do some kind of an executor strategy 3 times in a row. As soon as you see them pushing something or doing something 2 times in a row, in the third round you can expect some kind of a change, no matter how the first 2 rounds went for them. Now, there is one problem with these rules. Like, all 3 of these rules are mainly for the lobbies that are in between Silver 1 and Immortal 3. Immortal 2. Basically, high elo players tend to play basically like irons. You know, they're gonna do a lot of weird shit, weird stuff that is much harder to predict. Low elo players are gonna do random shit, you know, beginners between Iron 1 and Bronze 3, because they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Anyways. And, but you should still get accustomed to these rules and follow them within your gameplay, simply because they will give you higher chances of winning your rounds and higher chances of predicting the enemies, rather than just randomly positioning yourself however the fuck you want. Or, God forbid, you play based on your feelings. Feelings in Valorant don't exist for a player that is below Immortal 3. Your game sense, awareness, your knowledge is not on a level where you can play on your feelings, essentially. And statistically, you will have much higher chances of reading the enemies by following all of these. Now, these are only the 3 rules. We need also to combine the enemy's economy, team compositions, some other factors as well, like in which rank, in which elo you're playing, and stuff like that. But I guarantee to you, if you follow just these 3 rules, and the basic rules of how you should position on a map, you're gonna read the enemies on the defender's side 30 to 40% more than if you just position however the or God forbid, you play the same position every single round. That is the worst thing you can do on a defender's side. Does FPS matter? Should I get a 144Hz monitor? Yes. I mean, like, it's an FPS game. Like, the minimal optimal setup that you kind of need to play on the same level as anyone else is 144 Hz monitor and 144 FPS in the game. Better setup is not gonna make you a better player, but you will unlock your true skill ceiling as a player. You know, same as in tennis. Can you play tennis with a baseball bat? Maybe. Maybe you can. But you're not gonna be efficient enough, and you're not gonna be skilled enough as players that are playing with a big-ass fucking racket. You know? So, that's the main comparison. So, what should we do based on all of these rules in this third round? We start on the A site. And we have a really good combo to play on the A site right now as well. So, chances in this round that enemies are gonna go A is above 80%. Around 80%. So, how should we play this round with the Sheriff and Bucky? We're gonna start in the elbow. You know, this is probably usually the best idea you can try in the rounds where you play with the shotguns on A side. We're gonna start in elbow, holding this angle. On this angle, you have only one job, and that is trying to nail this just one bullet to the enemy's body or head. And you're gathering this information for yourself and baiting the enemies to push you. So, we are doing this or holding this angle as tight as your reaction time allows you. I don't know, I can hold this angle like this and still get a kill 3 out of 10 times. Which is why this is a 70-30 angle for us. But if you can, you can hold it a bit wider as well, or jiggle peek it. Enemies are pushing you. Bam. Pull out the Bucky. They're gonna run you like maniacs because they think you only have a Sheriff. Get one more kill. Get on a third position, such as this one. Potentially one more kill. And then you have two options. You can back off into the spawn if you don't have teammates that are fighting with you on the site. Or you can maybe stay on this position, wait for the enemies to push you, and just kill them. This spot right here is a really good spot that you can play on the A set. Really good, I don't want to call it an off angle because people in high elo lobbies use it a lot of the times. But for a low elo player, it is like an off angle. Enemies from the short don't see you. Enemies from the elbow don't see you. And if you have a shotgun and enemies are pushing you here, you can get away with a lot of shit. And if you have a Sheriff and your teammates are fighting short, you can still support them and kill the enemies. Now, listen, I have no idea what enemies are going to do in this round. Obviously. Like, we're just playing based on numbers, based on rules, based on stats. But always remember in ranked solo queue, if something is working 60% of times and more, it is better than doing a 50-50 gamble. Now, you want to start on B set again. Okay, let's close the market doors. And what is your main job in this round? To bait the enemies, to push you at the backside, so that you can shove this Bucky into their anal cavity right here. So that is your highest skill potential with this type of a buy option. Bucky and Sheriff. So we can close the market doors. We can take an off angle with a Sheriff and dash ability, try to get a few kills or a kill. And then this is the spot where we get guaranteed kills onto these enemies. Okay. Now listen, if you have Sage in team, there is another thing that you can try as a surprise tactic in low, in these eco and bonus rounds. So a lot of the times players in low elo, they don't use their brain. They autopilot a lot. So if you're playing with a Sage on the same site, what you can try one round, especially if you're playing some eco round, with the Stingers, Spectres, Buckies, Judges and shit like that, tell the Sage to wall off both of you guys, and we can try surprising the enemies from this position and deleting them. Like for example, you can be the first contact with the dash ability, and basically go for a peek with a, I don't know, like, Sheriff. Then, when the enemies are close to you, we can basically dash into the wall, and then when the enemies are getting closer, use a smoke to get one more kill. And there is absolutely no way that in this elo, enemies are going to be aware that one more enemy is basically here. So that is one, you know, cheesy strategy that you can use in these type of rounds. And it's very easy to communicate, you know, even an Iron player can understand what are you doing at that moment of time. That's one very important thing when it comes to comms and strategies. Like, across every single rank in Valorant, if your comms cannot be understood by an Iron player, it is probably a bad comm and a bad strategy and a tactic. Most of your tactics needs to be like 2 sentences or 1 sentence that anyone can understand. Because around 80% of players in Valorant are consistently autopiloting and they don't give a shit, essentially. Look at that. We were actually right for 3 rounds in a row. Who would have guessed it? This is a really bad dash ability usage. Like with the Jett, you always want to get some contact with the enemies before you use a dash ability. Some information. You know, you can start in this B main area of the map by jiggling this. Once you get the info about the enemies, then you use a dash ability to delete them again. That's why initial positioning with the Jett is mega important. Very important. Like with the Jett's dash ability, unless you're immediately playing on some kind of an off angle from which you want to surprise the enemies, 90%, 99% of rounds, you first want to get the info for your crosshair placement and for the dash ability before you activate a dash ability to delete the enemies. Because otherwise, you might just completely waste it. Now we should close the market doors. We can rotate with Sage. Listen, like if you're doing this rotation through mid, and you don't know if all enemies are on the A site, gun in the hands and start clearing the angles. We cannot push through here with a knife. And close the market doors, of course. Ooh. Listen, your crosshair should always be placed on the most probable angle from which enemies can kill you. So, how should we rotate through this area of the map? Close the market doors, check bottom mid, check tiles, check top mid, and now we can focus on A short. Why? Because you have a teammate in front of you, you know that enemies are not A short, and even if you're running with a knife out, you should run like this. So, if an enemy surprises you, like enemy chamber goes for some sneaky beaky pick like this, okay, with the Jett you can instantly updraft, maybe use a smoke, cover yourself up, get the fuck out. Another reason is you don't want your anal cavity to be penetrated, and the final reason is sometimes when you're doing these type of rotations and enemies are lurking and flanking, as soon as they hear you running around the corner or running away, maybe they're gonna miss time when they should go in. And there is a huge chance that you might see a glimpse of enemy shoulder on these type of angles. That enemy might not think that you even saw him, and then you're in a control of that fight. We can activate the dash ability and get that guy out of the server. Proba, we'll see, man. Listen, like, if you're engaging enemies with with the shotguns, sure, you can go for a retake through the A short area of the map. But basically, like, you need to use your smokes to close the gap. Like, you cannot push through these smokes without any information about the enemy's positioning. We don't know if enemies are here, if enemies are here, here. Like, wait for this smoke to disappear. Jump spot the enemies. Now, with this smoke, we can scale up here. Jump spot the enemies again. Do this smoke. Now we can kill this guy. We can kill this guy. Like, you cannot just run it down if you already have only a Bucky. I mean, anyways, you have a Sheriff as well. Like, you know, we could have cleared some of these angles with the Sheriff and then run out. Now, listen. your retake here is a bit hasty. Like, you cannot just run it down on site right now. You don't know if enemies have a site control. You don't know if any enemy is below this position here. You don't know if any enemies are backside here, there. Like, wait a bit. Enemies didn't plant the spike at all. Get some information first, and then make a decision. Anyways, you have 3 teammates in the CT. Wait for them to maybe pick some kind of a fight that is gonna give you the info. Where are the enemies exactly at that moment of time? You don't need to rush it out. Anyways, your main job in this 3rd bonus round is what? To damage the enemy's economy as much as you can. Yes, your job is not to win it. It's okay, even if you lose it, it's fine. Our only job is killing all 5 enemies, or 4 enemies at least. And then in the next rounds, we, our economy is blossoming while the enemy's economy is just absolutely garbage for the next 2-3 rounds. I just don't understand, like, why are you forcing these type of fights? It's okay, man. You got a Spectre for yourself. You damage this Valet by running and gunning, which is obviously not optimal at all. Right now, you can just chill on this spot. Once again, wait to see what enemies are gonna do, what your teammates are gonna do, and then you can go for some surprise peek while your teammates are distracting the enemies. But you engaging the enemies here, while your teammates are fully smoked off, doesn't make any sense. You're in a huge disadvantage, in terms of economy, in terms of health points as well. Like, why would you risk it so much? And above everything else, like, you were not ready for this fight at all. Like, if you want to take this type of fight, like, actually, whenever you're taking any fight with the enemies, like, the first thing you should ask yourself, do I have a proper crosshair placement for this fight? Second thing is, do I have a proper positioning to take the fight here? And third thing is, what type of movement should I apply to take this type of a fight? Here, I don't want to be taking the fight like a taxi driver. Stare at the wall, place your crosshair around the enemy's head, body, whatever, and then, just with your A and D keys, swing out and take a fight. One thing that you always want to avoid in Valorant is, like, taking the fights with your W key. That is something that, you should have learned, like, in 2022, essentially. Like, these type of fights around the angles, AD with a proper crosshair placement. But you're just rushing it way too much. I don't know why do you feel under the pressure right now? Nothing is happening. Enemies are not A short, you have 3 teammates in the spawn, enemies have 0 utility to clear you at the backside. Relax a bit. Wait for this smoke to disappear so we can fight with our Reyna that has a Vandal. If enemies push you on the bomb site, even better. We can just decimate them here with a Spectre. No reason to feel under the pressure. We could have actually won this round, potentially. Potentially. If you played it a bit slower.
Hey, though.
Now, where do we play this round? So, for first 2 rounds, enemies went B. In the 3rd round, they went A. So in this 4th round, where do we need to start? We need to start top mid. Why? We need to play fast rotations between A and B. We have no idea what enemies are going to do next. We can play this 4th round passively as well. It's no problem. Enemies have shit executes anyways. But we cannot gamble on the A side completely.
5分鐘瞓覺。
My guy is losing it. And this is the reason why. Anyways, you have a KO that is knifing Amin. He's gonna give you the info. We can fight the enemies from the elbow and short anyways. But now, terrible things can happen. Your teammates on mid can die. Your Sage and B-main can die. They can put us in some kind of a disadvantage. And that's gonna be terrible. Generally speaking on Sunset, if you already want to position somewhere and just gamble, do a 50-50 gamble without any information, anything. just start top mid or market and just play fast rotations, and that's it. Now listen, like, there is really no reason for you to hold this as a one and done angle, especially not as a Jett player. First of all, enemies have a Sky Dog, Sky Flash, hindering ability, Sage Orbs to clear you out from this spot. Second of all, your main idea when you're playing Jett is to abuse the dash ability to get a guaranteed kills. Play an angle like this if you already want to play passively and keep this control. Go for a burst fire. Now you get the information for your peek and crosshair placement, and now you can easily get one enemy out of the server. Like, there is absolutely no reason here to play this angle as a one and done angle. Okay, this is already becoming a bit of a problem. Like, if there is a 5% of chance that you're gonna be fighting enemies as a Jett player, activate the dash ability. You heard 2 enemies running. Enemy Reyna did a leer. Already at this moment of time, this ability should be activated, because it is far above 5% that we're gonna be fighting enemies here. I mean, the only reason why we're not mentally ready for this fight is because you don't feel confident, because you don't know if this is going to be activated. And also when it comes to your aim and movement, like, you very rarely stop and shoot, to be honest. Like, in all like 4 rounds that we watched thus far, like, that is your biggest issue right now. Of course, as a low elo player, like, this guy, you know, you can work on your crosshair placement, you can work on your peeking, you can work on everything. But the timing to stop and shoot doesn't exist at all. Like, you're literally running and gunning for the last 3 rounds. And there's also a very easy training to fix this problem. Like, I mean, already your mechanical problems just in these first 4 rounds are extremely visible and extremely prominent in your gameplay. And all of this can be fixed with a very simple mechanical training routine in less than 3 months. Of course, I'm gonna share it with you after this VOD review. That looked a bit better, I'm not gonna lie. This is your problem. So, what is your main problem with positioning? Your main problem is that you're playing every angle as a one and done position. Way too overexposed. While in Valorant, this type of a fight should be the last fight that you play in the game. Not your second fight, not your third fight, your last fight. Like, you take this type of a duel only if you're fighting together with your teammates, or if there's absolutely nothing better that you can do at that moment of time. Like, for an example, all of your teammates are dead in A short. You know that one enemy is elbow. Okay, we need to take that fight. But you have the full A short control. You know that there's probably gonna be one enemy in the elbow. We didn't kill that Sky that we revealed a few seconds ago. So right now we should hold this position by just jiggle in, jiggle out, jiggle in, jiggle out, or you can hold it statically in this specific way and just go for 1 bullet or 3 bullets, and then once you get the info for your crosshair placement, we abuse our peeker's advantage with the proper crosshair placement to get that Sky out of the server. But even then, we're 5v2, you don't need to force this type of a fight. And especially in the first 4 rounds, what's very important in low elo is that you don't die in some stupid ways, and you don't damage your economy as a Jett player for the future rounds. Like, in these first 4 to 5 rounds, you really want to build a strong economy so that you have money to full buy in most of the rounds to get that operator to be most useful in other rounds of the match. Like, the only thing you have to do here is apply the pressure here, jiggle peek, maybe jump spot the enemies, wait for your Reyna to backstab the enemies, and that's it. That's also a very important thing that you should observe when you're on a defender's side. Whenever you have one teammate on the flank and lurk, your only job is to distract the enemies and wait for this guy to clean up things. And that's it. You don't need to force any gunfight at all. Oh, look, hello, stream, man. Would you recommend aimless or co-ops for aim training or just grinding DMs? Everything. Everything can fix your mechanical problems, depending on what those are. Like, for example, the mechanical problems that he has, like this type of a player should spend most amount of his aim training in range, custom server, and deathmatch. Okay, so for 2 times in a row, enemies went B, then 2 times in a row they went A. So in this round, once again we should start around the mid and around the market, more towards the B side. Anyways, another reason why we should start on mid right now is as soon as you notice that your teammates love to play a bit more aggro on mid, you should start with them and play with them. Because in the mid area of the map, they have the highest chances of getting some contact with some enemies and the highest chances of dying. So right now we should definitely play with our Reyna, because only God knows what that guy is gonna do. Buying the operator here, okay, fine, we can do it. Come on, my internet is not that bad. YouTube. This is actually YouTube. Thank you. That here is probably so mad right now. Listen, like, always hold the angles in Valorant. These initial angles. If you're not using any dash ability or teleport, as tight as your reaction time allows you. Like right now, we cannot do shit about that Valet. That Valet destroyed our KO. KO is dead. They have the full A-Show control. But we heard and we know that some enemies are in the B-main as well. So instead of holding this angle, this wide, hold it as tight as your reaction time allows you. If this is your reaction time, hold it like this. If this is your reaction time, hold it like this. But holding this as a one and done angle, especially with the operator, where if you miss one shot, you're most likely gonna die. Why? You still have a dash ability to get a guaranteed kill. Like, we can kill the Reyna here, like this, bam, then dash ability, delete the sky, jump spot to see where is the enemy Valet. We can maybe deal with her as well. If you don't want to deal with her, smokes, reposition, play safe, play with your allies. But this cannot be your first and last fight, especially not in low elo lobbies. Because if this is your first and last fight, you're never gonna have fun observing your teammates making mistakes. We kind of forgot about this Valet. Like, I mean, you didn't hear the Valet refract. You didn't hear the Valet go back. Like, already here, you should be activating a dash ability, because you know you will be fighting Valet. She's not A short. She must be on the site. Unlucky. Listen, when playing Jett, in these eco rounds, especially at low elo, you will have much higher success and much higher chances of killing the enemies with some other weapon that is not Sheriff. Like, you can get away with a lot of different shit, all the way up to Immortal 3 in Valorant. Like, instead of getting a Sheriff, let's go for a Bucky, Classic Pistol, and Light Shield. Bait the enemies in the elbow, delete them with a Bucky later. Let's go for a Stinger and Light Shield. Stinger is still an amazing weapon that shreds the enemies on medium range and close range. Like, yeah, you should also learn how to play Sheriff and be precise and all of that shit, but the more you're versatile, the easier your grind in Valorant is gonna be. Much easier. Like, right now you're relying on one-taps to kill these enemies, when we can literally just get them out of the server by abusing some kind of a cheesy strategy or setup. In Valorant ranked, like, as you're ranking up, you always want to fight smart and not hard. Like, you want to make your job as easy as possible to make an advantage, to get the guns from the enemies, to win the rounds. Because if you sweat out every match and just try to rely on your mechanics to win games, you're literally gonna get burnt out from this fucking game if you're forcing these type of mistakes and these type of rounds. Okay, crosshair placement one second. I'm not gonna speak about your crosshair placement like it's all over the place, you know? So we're just gonna work on that, and I'm gonna share some kind of a training with you. I mean, this crosshair right now is amazing. Amazing for enemy's penis. But, you know, PP shots only work in real life. And I'm kind of confused, like, how you don't feel under the pressure right now. You know, if I was in your position, I would be, you know, like, there's 2-3 enemies pushing me right now. I know I'm gonna get in a fight. I know I'm gonna be fighting multiple enemies. How we don't have a dash ability activated at this moment of time? I mean, you got away from it because of your cloth's amazing smokes, but that's not gonna happen always. Listen, if you already end up CT, like, just take some kind of an off angle. Like, you know, enemies are there, like, just updraft, get on this position. Like, on a defender side in Valorant, there is only one rule that you want to use. And that rule is the following. You want to abuse as many safe fights as possible to potentially kill the enemies and deal some damage before you commit yourself into a 50-50 fight. Like, you can play on the edge of this. Try to delete one enemy. Use a dash ability. Try to delete one more enemy. Wait for your teammates. Fight together with them. And only when you need to force a 50-50, then you force it. Like, when you have no more angles to abuse, or your teammates are dead and you need to make some pressure and clear the angles and corners. My guy is a PP crosshair placement minister, man. We need to work on this. Also remember that in Valorant, a lot of the angles, a lot of the bricks on the walls are made intentionally to give you a better crosshair placement. Like, basically, for a low elo player, it is much easier correcting your crosshair placement based on some crosshair placement lineups rather than just spamming deathmatches 24/7. At least on these common angles and off angles in the game. Like, for example, here, when you're in the CT and fighting enemies there, this can be your crosshair placement lineup. Like, basically, this line on the wall, that is exactly where the enemy head is at that moment of time. And it is so easy to track and develop. Like, there's a lot of things that work naturally in Valorant. And they seem intentional by the developers. Like, every brick on the wall, every painting can tell you where your crosshair should be at that moment of time. boxes are the same height as the enemies, you know, like, then some ledges, some angles, like, it is so simple. You don't even need to have a natural crosshair placement. You can just line it up. At least for a low elo player, that is much easier, rather than developing your crosshair placement by brute forcing death matches, ranked matches, and trying to develop a feeling for it. Where are you going, Mr. Freeman? What are you trying to do right now? Relax. Chill. I mean, we can go for this peak. Don't get me wrong. It's not a bad play. Like, we can go for this fight. But we need to activate the dash ability. You saw 3 enemies in the elbow. We don't know if enemies rotated at all. Okay, you can take this fight. It's an eco round, hull by round. Fuck it. We can use the dash ability to potentially get a kill. But actually, almost perfect. Just your timing for activating a dash ability can be a bit sooner. You know? Almost perfect. I'm actually surprised by this one. The only problem that I have here is that you're kinda unaware when it comes to the positions from which enemies can kill you in these areas of the map. Like, you know, we cannot peek the elbow area of the map without expecting the enemies there. Without expecting the enemies here. And then here. Like, what if the enemy, Reyna, was holding you here? You just would have been dead. And that's it. Whenever you lose some map control or some position, you need to re-clear that position as if enemies can be there, will be there, and they will be on every possible angle on that position. So here, you know, like, we just activate a dash ability already here, jiggle in, jiggle out, and now let's kill those guys. To be honest, if you had a bit better crosshair placement here, like, we would have taken 2 kills. But as I said, like, I cannot complain when it comes to this type of a play. It's okay for an eco round, like, you had a dash ability ready and we could have gone away with 2 kills in the pocket. But the problem is, like, you're making a lot of these micro mistakes at the beginning of your rounds, and when it comes to the first engagements with the enemies, and all of that needs to be polished. Always remember, if you're a player between Iron 1 and Diamond 3, like, the first thing you should work on is how you start the rounds. Because how you start the rounds will most of the times in those lobbies determine how you also end the rounds. If you start the rounds wrong or bad, but there's almost nothing that you can do in the middle and ending of the rounds that's gonna recorrect that shit. Especially if you're dead. Okay. What is happening in this round? We want to use the ultimate with the heavy shot. Very good, very good. Very good economy decision. With the Jett, usually what you want to do is, as soon as you build up your ultimate, especially on the defender side, you want to buy a heavy shield, some secondary weapon, shorty, stinger, marshal, or sheriff, and combine it with the ultimate. And we want to build up our ultimate at least 2 times during each half. Very good economy saver, very good economy option, nice. Now, playing A set again, I mean, okay, you have Sage on B, but once again, I would start in mid, to be honest. And also, listen, if you're already starting on A, and you think enemies are gonna go A, why don't we take the full aim and control? Why are we giving enemies any free space at all? You have KO in the team with a knife, you have Clove, tell the Clove to give you a one-way smoke here. If you hear the enemies with the Jett, you can also use the dash ability, updraft, kill them from there. You can tell your KO to maybe drop you some random flash. At this skill level, you can just tell the KO to chuck it. You know, tell the KO to just drop it into the enemy's face. It really doesn't matter, because I highly doubt that this KO knows any lineups or something like that. Because right now, you know, if you don't take the aim and area of the map, you might waste a lot of the time during this round just being on A site and not being able to rotate to help your teammates on mid and B. Also, what's really going to be important in this round is if he uses the shorty to destroy the sky utility. I mean, that's why you buy this secondary weapon. This is insta-rotation. Like, it's a fast rotation map. We need to play with our teammates as soon as possible. Go. Go. Prioritize refrag potential. But also, as I said, if you notice that your teammates love to fight for the mid area of the map on Sunset, you will never make a mistake if you fight together with them. Because they will always have the highest chance of dying on a defender's side. Such as this Reyna. Already at this moment of time, you should be top mid. Man, fuck it, just play retakes. In low elo, as long as you're playing retakes with some numbers advantage or equal numbers, that's totally fine. You know? Like, the worst thing that can happen to you in low elo is like, now Reyna dies, KO dies, Sage dies, and you're playing like 2v4, 2v5, 2v3 every round. Especially on these claustrophobic maps such as Sunset. Small maps. Also, if the enemies don't have a true sentinel that can cover the flanks, in some of the rounds, like where you only have the ultimate or you're playing some eco, you can try to go for some backsteps and try to pinch the enemies. You're not going to lose the timing to play with your allies. Listen, you move at the same speed with a knife and with a Jett ultimate as well. It never makes sense ever to pull the knife out if you already have the ultimate. Speed is identical. I don't know what the fuck you're doing right now. Like, you should have rotated long time ago on mid. Now listen, if you, whenever you go for this type of plays, like you want to go behind the enemies, if you're not 1,000,000% certain that all enemies right now are in the B main area of the map, clear every angle as if the enemies will be there and can be there. No matter if you're running or walking. Surprisingly okay. Now, listen, chat. I'm not gonna mention his crosshair placement ever again during this VOD review because we already stated that this is weakness, mechanical weakness. I mean, listen. Crosshair placement is 50% of your aim in Valorant. Like with crosshair placement, with good crosshair placement, even if you have bad raw aim, like reaction time and micro adjustments, you can get away with a lot of shit. But having a bad crosshair placement will always bite you in the ass. Dash ability, dash ability, dash ability!
Right.
You need to be a bit lighter on this dash ability. Especially if the enemies are close. You know you're gonna fight them. Activate it. It lasts for 7 seconds, 8 seconds. Like, you're here, you know that enemies are close to you, but you're probably gonna use it for a fight anyways. Like, you always activate a dash ability when you get a contact with the enemies. Okay, that is the old Jett from 2022. But with the new Jett, like, you need to be a bit lighter on the dash ability. And dash ability is never wasted if there was a 5% of chance for you to get a duel with the enemies or die. That's like kind of like a general tip in Valorant. Like, it's always better for you to make some kind of a decision or use your utility for something rather than making no decisions at all and not using your utility at all. Because over time you will naturally start developing a good feeling for when and how to use your abilities. Same with the strategies as well. It's better for you, you know, to try different things, try using different strategies, rather than, you know, just repeating the same shit all over again, and then you're asking, like, why am I losing the fights? Why am I losing the matches? Like, bro, fixing my cross placement when I was new shocked me how much I improved. And it's so easy to improve it with cross replacement lineups. Just curious, what elo are you considering as low elo? Okay, low elo in Valorant is everything between Iron 1 and Diamond 3. Because every single one of these ranks need to work on the similar or same skill issues and skill problems. But now in low elo, we have 3 sub-elos, which need to work on separate problems. You have like a beginner's elo, Iron 1 to Bronze 3. We have a true low elo, which is Silver 1 to Gold 3. And you have like a high low elo, which is obviously Platinum 1 to Diamond 3. Of course, like, Diamond players cannot be compared with the Iron players, but all of these players kind of suffer from the same skill set issues, such as game knowledge, decision making, and mechanical skill.
瞓覺，早唞，
Bye.
bye。
Spike down B.
Now, lucky for you, when it comes to using the Jett knives, one thing that you can kind of get away with the Jett knives when you're playing below Ascendant 1 is you don't need to go for the headshots always, Especially if you're playing below, like, Platinum 1. Instead of going for the headshots, if you're full HP, you can just go for 3. Pop, 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 pop. 3 knives to the body and just delete the enemies. But when you're engaging the enemies, what's very important is that you're mobile. You're fucking up their crosshair placement. You're moving left and right. Or, even better, in low elo, players have this type of a crosshair placement. If you think that Sky is here, you just do this, and the chances of her killing you is even lower.
One enemy remaining.
Here as well, like, you wanted to engage this last enemy, but use that mother effing dash ability, bro. Be light on it. It's fine, it's last enemy anyways. You know that Clove is there. Maybe if you die, she goes for some... Maybe she's a smurf. Maybe if you die, like, she goes for some crazy clutch round. In low elo, your teammates have a chance to lose around 1 versus 4. 1 versus 4. So don't take any risks or any chances of losing this and also losing this type of rounds. It's especially in Europe. You lose this type of a round. Your teammate is laughing like this and already pressing that surrender button. Okay, this round playing on A site makes sense, because the only rounds that enemies won were on A site. We just punished them on B, so yes, we can play on A. Now, as I said, like, if you already know that enemies are gonna go A, it makes a bit more sense to fight fully for the A main area of the map, with a one-way smoke, with a Chaos supporting you, but if your teammates don't want to do that, okay, we can play as we played, previously, it's fine. Especially because, what you noticed in the previous rounds when the enemies were pushing you. They are not using a single ability to clear this position and this position. If enemy initiators are already not fucking you up in any way, sure, yeah, you can get away with a lot of shit.
Good work. Don't screw it up.
Okay, it was fine. It was good. I just don't understand, like, I just need to ask you, you're gonna answer it later anyways, but why do you force yourself in these like, off angles and 50-50 fights? And why does this need to be your first fight that you take? It's not like these players that you're playing against, they don't know how to clear common angles, let alone some off angle or tight angle. Immortal gun? What the fuck, bro? How do we have an immortal gun buddy in a bronze 3 lobby, man? What the fuck am I watching, actually? Question mark? I just noticed. How far? How far you need to go? What the fuck is happening with the rank system in Valorant, bro? How is a bronze 3 player that is a silver 1 peak? Which act is this? Let me check it. It is act episode 3. So somebody in the enemy team or our team went from immortal to silver and bronze MMR. Must be both account. Yeah, that's actually, yeah, more probable. Yeah, there's no way. There's no, once you reach immortal or radiant, like, there's no way you're that bad. Even if your rank tanks down, your MMR is gonna be high. Like, there's no way, There's just no way. Okay, what is your problem? You don't need to hold the first angle like this, bro. With a Jett. This is an angle that you can hold maybe with a Chamber's teleport. If you're playing some crossfire setup, okay, we can hold this angle. Let's say your KO is here. Sure, you can play like this. Wait for the KO to get a contact and then bam, bam, bam. You have a teammate that is baiting for you. From here, sure, you can play like this. Your teammate gets the first contact, enemies swing you like monkeys, and then bop, 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 bop. You get easy kills. Yeah, maybe both are boosted account. True.
One down.
Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, these players don't know how to clear the angles. All the way up to platinum, like, players are really bad when it comes to angle clearing, expectations, awareness, crosshair placement. Like, you can get with a, you could have get this kill in a much safer way. Now, what do you do after this kill? So now we lost a bit of info on this angle. We cannot swing it again because we don't know if a second enemy is here. So before I regain the control of this angle, I need to jump spot it, and then we can hold it passively like this. Once again, we go for one bullet or a burst fire. Enemies are pushing me. Dash ability activated. Bam! One more enemy gone. One more enemy gone. And I simply play with my KO in A short. Or we can reposition into the spawn a bit more passively and play with the numbers advantage. Also, when you're holding angles in Valorant, you always want to hold them as far back from the walls as possible. Like, basically, this angle here, you always want to hold in this way. From this position. We're trying to, nullify the peekers and angle perception disadvantage as much as we can. If you hold it like this, your body is far more exposed than if you hold it like this. It's easier for you, if you get in some kind of a bad fight. Or you start getting a Parkinson's disease aim. You just need to do one sidestep, and the ping difference, latency, and that type of shit is not gonna fuck you as much as if you do this and you need more time to get behind the cover. So there's like two simple rules that you always use when you're a solo player holding angles in Valorant. You always want to hold the angles as far back as possible. In most case scenarios, like there are some exceptions, and you always want to hold them as tight as your reaction time allows you. How tight? You should be able to get a kill 3 out of 10 times before you activate a dash ability and engage enemies again. Where are you going? Where are you going? We have no idea where are the enemies. We have no fucking idea what enemies did. It is 5v3. Where are you going right now? Relax, chill. Right now you should be like, good job, Zexy. His name is Dr. Sexy or something. I don't know, like, I forgot his name actually. Good job. Now, your job is done, basically. If I hold back, can they see me first? They're gonna see you first anyways. That's why some angles you wanna hold statically or with a jiggle peak, depending, how common is a certain position, whatever. So, you don't need to make any more plays. Your job is over. You know? Like, everything that you need to do right now is decide with which teammate you should play and where, and basically just fight with them. You know, we can also stay in the elbow right now. We can just chill in the elbow, hold this line, and wait to see what's gonna happen in mid and on the B set as well. But if you die here, that's gonna be a bit of a problem. Now listen, same as with anything else in Valorant, no matter what type of action you're doing, no matter like if you're picking the spike up, if you're like planting the spike, defusing the spike, picking up the orb, picking up the KO, your crosshair should always be on the most probable angle from which enemies can kill you at that moment of time. So instead of placing your crosshair here, right now our crosshair should be there. Why? If enemies surprise you with a peek, with a swing, you're ready for that fight. You don't need to do 20 micro adjustments and a large flick to kill an enemy there. And also, like, you know, when you're going for these backstab plays, you need to shift a bit if you're not 100% certain that the whole enemy team is in the B main right now. I mean, I don't know if someone is holding us here. We need to clear these angles with some respect. You know? Like, okay, you wanna move up, pick up the orb. Jumps for the enemies first, then we can pick up the orb, like this. Now, you wanna go for a play, sure, you can do it. But, slowly, one angle. Then we need to clear this slowly, clear this. Then, you know, we can shift up, clear this position. Then, we can shift up, clear the spawn, clear this off angle. Then, we can move into the mid, check this position, this position, this position. Now, we need to jiggle pick this because enemies can be there and there. Get the info. Enemy is there. Dash ability, wide swing, get him out of the server. Like, you cannot go for this type of flanks and lurks like a monkey, running like a monkey, because then enemies are gonna expect you, and enemies are gonna be aware of this. The whole point of this is like a surprise mechanic. It should be a surprise for the enemies that you're behind them. Okay, your map awareness is obviously like I mean, I cannot expect a bronze 3 player to have a good map awareness. We need to work on that, then we'll see what we can do. Because my guy literally knows that last 2 enemies are in the B main and we're doing a dash ability, throwing a smoke here, like, I don't know what we're doing. But anyways, here, like, you should have aborted this mission completely. Like, going for this play here was good until this moment of time. Because we had a KO to fight together. But if your KO wants to run back in a 4v2, run back as well. If enemies already know that you're behind them, they are already under a lot of pressure. Like, understanding the pressure and power play in Valorant is mega important. Like, in a 4v2, you don't need to force yourself to do something. You can just rely on the basic refray game and win this type of a round. Okay, we killed one enemy here. We dashed here. Now, you and KO can both walk back into the market, reconnect with these teammates, keep our location a secret, and you've done plenty of work already. All we need to do right now is fight together. Even if those 2 enemies end up on A site, in a 4v2, that's a round that we need to win, and that we're gonna win definitely. But one way to lose this type of a round is, instead of playing on your teammate's contact, you are trying to make another play that you don't need to make. Like, if you die right now, I don't know what to tell you. Like, you know, you're just a spectator, and that should never happen to you in a 4v2, 5v2, 3v2, 2v1 scenarios, where you have some kind of an advantage. Like now, God help us. God will help you. Yeah. Once again, playing on A side is fine, in my opinion, based on what happened in the previous rounds. So, our teammates are not fighting for the mid control. Sage is always stopping the enemy's push on B. Like, enemies always have one guy that is, like, doing something in the main area of the map. So, sure, you know, this is solid positioning for this round. that knife on the minimap, maybe Jesus Christ is revealed. It could have been dodged in so many different ways.
哦，你而家係開緊分啊！
And what are these? What is this? The guy is an announcer. Like what is going on, bro? Who's speaking? So, right now, yes, you don't need to make any move. We don't know where are the enemies. We don't know what's gonna happen. We can just, you know, anchor this position and wait a bit.
呢個係。哦，你而
George
家係開緊分啊！呢個係。哦，你而家係開緊分啊！呢個係。
George, thank you for the zap.
哦，開緊分可能有啲唔係。
I need to take a piss. Okay, we're back. So, the play that you're doing right now is completely unnecessary again. Like, you can get information in this area of the map without wasting your dash ability. Oh, well, we spent too much time in a custom server in the game. George, thank you for a ghost. I just don't know, like, what is a ghost and zap, but thank you. Now we have cats. 4 cats, bro. Now we have a heart. A bit gay, but that's fine. No homo, though. Can I get back on Shanset? Shut up, bro. I have a fault with me. No matter which agent I pick, I just can't drop more than 10 to 15 kills, even if I'm a duelist, so usually I play smokes or send any advice. Like, I really... You know, the problems can be various different problems. Like, it's really hard. Like, generally speaking, I kinda stay away from giving advices to players when I don't know the player, because I might just fuck you up. I don't know you. I don't know how you play the game, how you position, how you play on a macro and micro level. Maybe the aim is the problem, maybe not. Maybe positioning, maybe angle holding, maybe pathing, scaling up. There can be many problems. Utility usage. Okay.
My ult's ready.
30 seconds left.
So here, you want to get the info if any enemies are in the aim area of the map. If you're already here, jump spot the enemies, and that's it. We don't need to waste our dash ability to check an area of the map like that. And if an enemy is really in this area of the map, you know, after a jump spot, then you can activate the dash ability and get that enemy out of the server. Because otherwise, we possibly wasted this dash ability for nothing.
呢個分段嘅。
In this case, that was not the case, but also, why is it good to gather information like this? Because it is much better if you engaged this Reyna with a peeker's advantage, proper crosshair placement, and a dash ability. That should be a guaranteed kill for you. Instead of that, you got surprised by that Reyna, you didn't have a good crosshair placement, and you just backed off with a few body shots.
大家都喺度。
Where are we going? Enemies know that you're here. They're expecting an aggression. They're expecting us to be here. We need to get on another angle, another off angle. We need to keep our location a secret. What's also a decent idea here is maybe regrouping with your KO. You know? We can go for a double peek from the right side, for an example. But taking this type of fight is just a suicide. Just a suicide. Like, enemies know that you're there. They're expecting you. They're ready for a fight. Like, what are we doing?
大家都仲喺度開緊個分。
Careful. Spike down.
What are we doing here? You got a kill. You got a spike. You know that more enemies are here. But we cannot force every fight that we see on the map. You need to reset yourself a bit more. Like, you cannot just press a W key and run through these guys. Especially not with the mechanics that you have at this moment of time.
Round A.
唔準嘅個分，隨時有啲都唔係呢個分段嘅，只不過路過咁樣嗰啲咧。
Am I tripping, bro? Like, Mindfact small stream, man. Like, in this round, it would have been much better that that you, like, killed only Bailey, Sage, waste her ultimate, and we search for another way to make a numbers advantage. Instead of that, what happened is you took 2 kills, your teammates were still 3v3, you're not alive, and basically we are fucked. Because we need to rely on our low elo teammates to win this round for us. Let me tell you a story. And it goes like this. So, if you get a kill in a round, but you instantly get traded, and your teammates are still 4v4, 3v3, 2v2, in a full buy round, you did absolutely nothing. Like, you were not useful. You didn't do a proper job. Your solo impact is 0 in that round.
路過咁樣。
30 seconds remain.
I mean, like, as I said, like, we can keep playing like this only because it's working and, you know, your teammates, like, on B are stopping their enemies' push, delaying them. They're not really dying. The only reason why I would maybe start on mid this round is because Reyna and Clove, they seem like they're gonna fight on mid, and that's always a decent option to play with these guys, but okay, I mean.
佢咗我分可能係。
Together!
睇咗少少，睇晒。
For example, right now, I would probably be with my Clove, clearing the B from behind, rather than allowing my Clove to play alone there. Okay, now is it now? Amen, sorry, not B. Now is the time to run. Now we need to play. We need to go, man. We need to go. Like, especially if you see on the minimap that enemies are using some big ultimates on the opposite part of the map. The Sage wall is destroyed. Knife out, run through the spawn, and try to reconnect with your teammates as soon as possible. We cannot walk right now. There's 2 enemies pushing in. 3 enemies. Why are we... Now you decide to walk. When you have the info that all of the enemies are in the B main. Wink, wink. What?
Spike
This is what you should have done every other round when you decided to go for this lurk and flank. Now it doesn't matter, like, I mean, we can just play with a KO and win this round, like, it's all over.
好鬼嘅。
Okay, as I said, like, fine. Like, we can play either with a Clove or starting the A main. Both options are fine. Because our teammates from B are, you know, this Sage is just decimating the enemies.
出奇啊！有啲咩幫條女打咁樣嗰啲，跟住然後
Can I ask, like, what am I listening to? Like, what is this, man?
開分呢啲位你開得好，你可以打少好多場。
Chat! What's going on, bro? This was okay. I mean, like, we knew that some enemies are in the aim and area of the map. The peak could have been better, of course, like with a bit, you know, wait for the dash ability to activate. Proper crosshair placement. We can go for a bit wider swing, it's fine. Okay.
Spike down A.
Stop re-aggressing the enemies alone. If you already made numbers advantage, and if the enemies can already expect your re-aggression, especially if you're making sound. Relax, chill. Walk out of the elbow. Reposition towards the KO. That is what enemies are not gonna expect. You playing with a KO right now and fighting together with him. Your job is done. What else do you need to do to win this round?
A.
You wanna kill every enemy? Now? Again, losable round. Now listen, I'm pointing out all of these mistakes because you're bronze 3, silver 1. I've noticed on your tracker there's an enormous amount of games where you have a lot of kills, but you still lose these games, and this is the reason why. Like, a bad plays that work sometimes are still statistically a bad play. And the reason why you're stuck is because you're consistently making these bad plays and relying on them. If I walk out from elbow, wouldn't they get space? Space is not important in a 5v2. In a 5v2, the only thing that's important is that we stay alive. We use our teammates to fight together with the enemies. You can sell the whole map to the enemy team. Just cover the most important choke points through which enemies can flank us, lurk us, and pick us on timings. And that is the rule on any map in Valorant, especially in low elo. Okay, this is the last round, like we should just use the ultimate as well. You know, in these last rounds, if you have extra credits, become a weapon minister, you know, like you can be basically a Terminator in this type of round. So what you can do is, like, you know, in this round we have the ultimate, we have a phantom. But you can also get a judge, you know, for an example, or operator. We can fight enemies here with a phantom, then use a judge, then use the ultimate, like, or, you know, with the op, we can hold this angle, get a kill, get a phantom, get one more kill, and then with a knife in long ranges just finish off the enemies. Because Jett knives are the most efficient and the best to be used in the long range fights. Super long range fights. You want to peek the enemies from the elbow in the aiming area of the map. How can we do it? We can jump spot the enemies and get the info like that, or we can slice the pie only with your A and D keys. A and D, 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 and but much better way is just jump spot the enemies and then with the dash ability send them to the grave. You're not a taxi driver. Maybe you are. I don't know, like, but you don't want to do this in Valorant. You know? That's no bueno. This is a very good setup, to be honest. We're letting our KO go first. Okay. Ooh.
Spike down B.
Oh, you know, what he is doing right now is okay, but in low elo, usually much better idea is to just rotate on the first contact between your team and the enemy team. And just make sure that you're playing with these teammates right here. And if your KO wants to go for a lurk, let him lurk alone. You know, this play, when you double lurk, you should maybe do in the rounds where, you know, you're 100% certain that your teammates are backing off the enemies, they stop the enemies by big utility, and that's it. And the double lurks, especially in low elo, are fine because there's no way that these players are gonna expect, you know, 2 players from behind. But a much better idea is always to fight with the teammates that you already know are gonna fight the enemies.
Sky destroyed.
I never heard that voice line in my life. We're covering an angle for 2 enemies that are already on site. Okay. Let me just get it straight. Clear the left side. Decent. Jump spot this angle. Enemies already know about you. Dash ability should be activated.
Last player standing. One enemy
Okay, this is probably, you know, a very common problem we're gonna see on the attacker's side with the dash ability. Like, dash ability is not only a tool to fight the enemies, to take space, but also a recon tool. Like, you should be forcing yourself at this moment of time to clear at least some angles, if not all, while you're using a dash ability. You know, the best usage of a dash ability is something like this, where in the middle of the dash, you clear left side and the right side as well. And then once you do that, you have all of the info for your crosshair placement and for your movement where you need to fight the enemies and where you should expect the enemies to be. Now, at your current skill level, you should just be forcing yourself to, you know, use dash ability sideways. Like, basically, just clear something before you end up in a smoke and before you end up in some kind of a fight. This is especially going to be important on the attacker side, where we need to clear these angles for our teammates. If you're not using dash ability like this, you're just not using it in an efficient way, and you're missing a huge part of the strength of this ability. Now, was it necessary here to smoke dash in? I mean, it's okay, like, you know, we could have gotten info for our KO, we could have revealed the enemy Sage on the right side, killed the Sage, then killed the Clove, but because my guy just dashed in, we don't know if the Sage is right, if the Sage is left. We don't know where, you know, if he did this, the round would have been over already.
Last player standing. One enemy remaining.
Okay, to be honest, considering this is a Bronze 3 VOD review, we spent over 2 hours on a defender's side. But all of these tips are important for every single player that is below Ascendant 1. Okay, that would be the defender's side for our friendo. Let's see what he does on attack. Does on attack. Okay, now we're on the attacker side of Sunset. So, same as on the defender side, you know, we need to analyze the enemy's team composition, our team composition, which map are you playing, in which elo, in which rank, and all of that good stuff. So, first of all, on Sunset. In the first 4... Oh, just a second. So, on Sunset. In the elo in which you're playing right now, for the first 4 to 6 rounds, you should try to organize your teammates to do something together. You know, don't let them lurk, don't let them flank, don't let them do some random mumbo-jumbo shit. Like, just try the basic executes. Because at your skill level, like, essentially, you know, most of the times proper 5-man executes can work easily. You know, because players in your elo, they don't respect utility at all. They position in a very poor way. So there's really no reason for you to complicate things that don't need to be complicated. I mean, like, if you're just getting the bomb site control for free, as well with some numbers advantage, you don't even need to touch the mid area of the map. That is why, like, you know, in the first 4 to 6 rounds, your number 1 and number 2 priorities should always be attacking the enemies on B and A, testing them there a bit, seeing how do they respond and what they do on the bomb sites, and just focusing on proper pathing, executes, and that's it. At your skill level, the only thing that's important between Iron 1 and Diamond 3 is that you have a proper smokes when you're going in with a Jett. So the only ally that you kind of need to micro-correct most of the time is just your controller. You know, if you're doing A executes, like, which you have some kind of a smoke setup, such as this one, you know, the CT smoke, and then this should be a second smoke depending if we're going through the A short or through the elbow. Then if we're pushing B, like we have 2 or 3 different variations that I covered in my playbook on Discord server. You know, you cannot allow your teammates to give you some kind of a smoke setup such as this one, or I don't know, some kind of a shit like this. I mean, I really don't know what type of shenanigans your low elo controllers are gonna do. So we need to have the proper smokes, just micro-correct that ally, and to all of the other teammates you can just adapt easily. Now, how to persuade your teammates to follow you at such a low elo? Just pick up the spike, give them a confident call out, simple call out where to go, what to do, and that's it. You don't need to complicate things at all. So, in the first 4 to 6 rounds, test enemies on A, test enemies on B, and then if nothing is working, then opt in for some kind of a split, mid control, or something else. Now, against this team composition that has 1 sentinel, the best idea in the first round is to just go A, you know? Because if the enemy Sage does what your Sage did... Sorry, I'm a bit sick. What your Sage did on defender's side, you're not gonna have fun at all. At all. Because you might go into the bomb site, your teammates get slowed down behind you, then you're isolated, God knows what's gonna happen. Especially at low elo, like what you should really try to do in the first 4 rounds is just try to avoid the sites where the enemy's hardcore sentinel is gonna play the most. In this case scenario, like, enemy Sage is probably gonna play on the B site. And anyways, even if she's playing on A, her wall and utility cannot fuck us up as much as it can fuck us up if we go B. And as I already said, like, in this first round, pick up the spike. You're the IGL. You're the leader. Tell your Clove brother, play with us, B-man, please. I'm gonna suck your penis, cock, pussy, I don't know what she has. And Reyna as well. Reyna, cunnilingus incoming if you just go B in this first round with us. And of course, you know, if you're playing Jett and you wanna force your teammates to like follow you somewhere when you're carrying the spike, before you do an execute, always drop the spike behind you. You know, you don't want to send it into the bomb. So we're just using a spike as a conditioning tool to make our teammates follow us up, because 50% of times your teammates will just follow the spike carrier and they're just gonna autopilot. In the first round, I mean, if you're going B, you can go with a ghost and smoke, but also you can go with a classic light shield and 2 smokes. It's really up to you. And in the first round, when you're executing B site, your only job is hitting the right timing to move into that position, or into this position here. So we should be doing this smoke, or this smoke, combined with the dash ability. In the middle of the dash, you're flicking left, then flicking right to reveal the enemies on all of these common positions and off angles. And based on that information, you decide what to do next. Now, very important tip, especially for the first round. When you're executing the bomb site with Jett, especially in the first round, you don't need to force 50-50 fights or the solo fights. Your only job is to get this initial space for your team. And from this position, you're observing the minimap, listening to the sound, and deciding where you want to fight enemies next. Right side, left side, market. And that's it. Now, when you pass through the beam and area of the map, if you're just running, just jump spot the enemies here, clear this angle, path like this, jump spot the enemies again, check this off angle, check the box, send it. If enemies have a Sage wall always expect the Sage to play either on top of the wall or around the wall. What low elo Sage players love to do a lot, like they create these cubby positions with a wall, and they're gonna outplay your teammates like that. So, especially against the Sage, we need to clear everything in the middle of our dash ability, so that you and your teammates don't get... I mean, especially your teammates, like, because I highly doubt that your teammates are gonna clear the angles properly, and you need to do that for them. But, okay, let's say that we live in a world where your teammates don't want to listen to you. You didn't even try. And now you have two teammates going mid in the first round, and we're doing some kind of a B split. What should you do? You should go mid. We need to play with our teammates on mid. On any map with a mid area of the map, with a mid area, if you have two teammates playing on mid, play with them in the first 4 to 6 rounds. Why? In the mid area of the map, your teammates have the most amount of chances to make some kind of a mistake and to get fucked in so many different ways. And that is something that you cannot allow to happen. So, in this round, what should you do? You should start at tiles together with your clove. Tell the clove to smoke top mid. From the tiles, we're clearing, you know, top mid, we're clearing the market, we're clearing that box, clearing this box, moving towards this pillar, clearing the boxy box, and sending our teammates onto the B site. If the doors have not been closed, you didn't destroy the doors. Same as on a defender side, you want to close the doors when you're going into this position. Whoever is last going through this choke point should always close the doors if you're doing a B split, just to protect your anal cavity from the enemy's potential backstab and anal penetration. So, that's what we should do, and essentially, let's see what our friend is gonna do. Yes, even if your spike is going B main, we need to play with our teammates in mid right now.
Stay safe.
Can I have the spike?
撩佢把聲。
You see why I said everything that I said? First of all, your teammates don't have a top mid smoke. What the fuck is going on? That's why, like, already in the first round, you should tell your controller what he or she should smoke for you. Like, you know, if you're doing a B split or some kind of a B split, this smoke first, then we destroy the doors, then we can use this or this smoke to cross the market area of the map, and then we do a split. Like, only God knows what's gonna happen with your Clove and Reyna right now. Listen, every single angle that you can jump spot in Valorant, jump spot. You know, the God gave you this option to move your feet in the air, to have freedom in the air. You don't need to swing these angles like a monkey. And especially if your teammates are pushing fast, always try to scale up in front of them. Because your teammates all the way up to medium and high-low lobbies, like, they will never use this mechanic at all. Like, even some Ascendant players that I'm coaching, like, they're just... This how they're fighting, or this. And then you ask me, why do I die? Well, why do you die, bro? You don't have info for your crosshair placement, and you're consistently relying on your raw mechanics and flicks to take the kills. Are you insane? Like, 2 enemies can hold you here in some kind of a crossfire double tower setup. You're not invincible, man.
Reloading.
That box behind you needs to be checked. Like, always check it. Like, I mean, it's not the best angle to play. You know, very rarely you will see high-elo players playing here, unless it is some kind of a double bait, triple bait setup. But it's low elo, like, you just never know. You know, if you didn't have the info from the Cypher camera, or recon abilities here, check it. It's gonna cost you 1 second. 0.5 seconds to flick there. Once again, you're making the same mistake that you were making on a defender's side. If there is 5% of chance for you to fight an enemy, you already see an enemy, Enemy is giving you time to breathe. Activate this motherfucking dash ability. You know? Like every time you die, and you didn't use this ability to fight the enemies, you could have done something better. And that better is take a fight with the dash ability. Obviously. Yep. Okay. We need to move in here. Like, your teammates are moving through market. Your Sage died as well. Like, this is a moment of time where you need to send it. Actually, this right here was the moment of time for you to send it. Your teammates took the mid control. They're ready to move through the market. We need to apply some pressure. Now, as I said, like, in these early rounds, you don't need to go for some aggressive plays with the Jett. As long as you just do this, you did plenty of work for your allies. Enemies that are here, here, and here are fully distracted by you. And they're primarily going to focus on you. While your teammates are going to have easier time moving into the site. And of course, like if Waylay is already stuck there, or here, I mean like, your allies, you can just pinch them together. And fight that Waylay together. If a guy is here, you can just hide behind the cover. Wait for your teammates to move in a bit. With a jiggle peep, we can try to fight that guy a bit. Distract him, or on the contact with our teammates, take easy kills. But also, as I mentioned, like, at this skill level, on the attacker side, the only teammates that you kind of need to micro-adjust a bit and tell them what to do are your controllers. Like, the type of smokes you're going to have below Ascendant 1, you just never know. Like, what the fuck is this smoke setup here? You know? Like, this setup is horrible. Your teammates from the market are in such a danger and crossfire here. This smoke on the right side doesn't do anything for you as well. At least for this round, it is not useful at all. Tell your teammates... That's why, like, even if you're maining Jett, Cypher, I don't know. It doesn't matter which agent you're maining. You should always know what is the best possible smoke setup for every single execute strategy and tactic. And in my Omen Rank playbook, I covered every single smoke setup for every single map.
Reloading. I got the spike.
Okay, so two guys are at the backside, one guy is right, but we still need to move in and deal with this Waylay. Especially in the first, you know, when you're attacking something, and one of your teammates already die, but the rest of the teammates are ready to fight the enemies. Send it. You know, like, these are the situations where you need to force some kind of a 50-50, where you need to apply some pressure. And we need to kill that Waylay, so that our KO can move with us, and so that our teammates from market can do something. I just don't want to even ask, like, how our Clove and Reyna didn't kill the Waylay that was not looking at them, but that's why this was the time for you to move in. Like, basically, when is the best moment of time for you to move in as a Jett player? So, first of all, smokes are down. Very good. Second of all, your teammates are close to the choke points. They're ready to go out. Like, you basically have one teammate here, one teammate here. It is time to move out. And of course, like, if you see an opportunity to take a free kill, to distract the enemies or something, that's also a time for you to move in as a Jett main. Now, if your teammates are just passive potatoes, they're baiting the shit out of you. They're not ready to move in. You don't have a smoke on the site. Those are the moments of time where you need to chill a bit. You know, relax, wait a bit to see, you know, what the enemies are gonna do, how many enemies rotated. You don't need to move in immediately. We can just reset around and do something else later. Yep. Now listen, like, from that first round, like, already in the first round, you should be taking mental and physical notes. Who played where? You know, where did you see the enemies? in that previous round. So in the first round, Reyna and Vele, actually I think Vele and Sky defended the B site and market. Reyna was probably the top mid player, and she just rotated fast. Sage, definitely an A player, and we didn't even see the Sage during the whole first round. And the enemy Clove is also probably the A player or the top mid player, because not only that she didn't do the smokes, we also didn't see her for the whole round. So once again, the absolutely best idea is to just send it B, and do a 5-man push onto the B side. Especially in an eco round, it's easier for you to find some free kills, and to avoid the crossfire angles, to avoid the long-range corridors, and just to shit on the enemies. And based on what type of info we can play this eco round. So, in these eco rounds as a Jett player, your primary task, and kinda like only job, is to trade yourself for as many kills as possible. Like, we wanna try to close the gap with the enemies somewhere, and just delete them either with a classic pistol or with a shorty. For your skill level, like, I would always go with a shorty and one smoke for these eco rounds on the claustrophobic maps. Now, what did you notice in the first round? As soon as the round started, enemy Sky used the dog from this or from this position. We can risk it a bit. You hear the dog, you can smoke in, dash, try to trade yourself for a kill. In every eco round where you get a kill, even if you die immediately, it's okay. We're damaging the enemy's economy, we're building our own economy stronger, we're farming the ultimate points as well, and you should take these opportunities when you already have the information, some information, how enemies are potentially gonna play. Here, even if you wanna go A, 5-man A, shorty with 2 smokes, very good option. You can easily trade yourself for the kills at this skill level with that buy option.
Bleed them dry.
Now listen, when you're playing against the Sage, like on Sunset, please always be aware of all of the cheesy plays that the Sage can do. Sage can use a wall here and peek you from top of the wall. You need to be ready for this angle when you're clearing the A main area of the map. Sage can use a wall instead of the elbow and peek you from this position as well. Either tell your teammates to be ready for this, or you should be the one ready for this and potentially countering the Sage.
Blocking sight.
Yep. I mean, listen, I'm not gonna speak about his crosshair placement at all during this attacker side, because on the defender side we already established his crosshair placement is shit. One of the biggest problems in his mechanical skill. He is gonna get the training for it. You will fix your crosshair placement in less than 2 or 3 months. Completely.
Blocking sight.
Now listen. When you're executing a set of Sunset, with the close range weapons, you should never go towards this position, or this position here, or up there. With a classic pistol, you always want to fight the enemies on, 0 to 20 meters maximum. And the main thing that we should use in this round to get some kills with this classic pistol is obviously the triple shot. So if you don't know if an enemy is backside, a much better option is simply doing this. And now from this position, jumping onto the enemy at the backside, applying the pressure and trying to get a kill in that specific way. Also, what's kind of criminal in this round is that you didn't even consider that one enemy can be backside. I mean, we don't have any info during this round if an enemy can be in this position, and we need to clear that position for our teammates, because if you were not aware of this spot, your teammates will also not check it properly. And when you're executing the bomb sets with your allies, like, you always wanna focus on clearing all of the angles one at a time. Because you never know at this skill level, like, if your teammates are actually gonna clear these angles properly. And even expect the enemies there, I don't know. Listen, so with a classic pistol, try to force yourself into some close range fights. You know, wait for the enemies a bit, try to pop on them with a triple shot. You can jiggle peek them with a triple shot and try to get the kills like that. This spray through the smoke was totally fine. But you cannot take this fight, for an example. Like, if the enemies are all the way there, at the back of that wall, I mean, you can still go for two headshots and maybe kill the enemy on that range, but the RNG of classic pistol first bullets is just too high on this type of a range.
Stay down.
I mean, literally right now, you heard both of the enemies behind you, so I don't know what are we doing.
Last player standing.
Okay. A bit of unawareness, but considering this was an eco round, whenever your eco round goes like this, you plant the spike, you kill 3, 4, 5 enemies, or 2 or 3 enemies, it's a successful eco round. Like, we damage the enemy's economy, we are building our ultimate points, building a strong economy, a W. Okay. I mean, like, you're doing exactly what is the worst thing to do at your skill level. Like, splitting the map early on, like, contesting the enemies. You don't need to do this. But did you see what, on the A side? You took the A side control for free. Enemy Sage was playing all the way from A short alone. Even on the B side, who the fuck is gonna defend the B side? Sky, Vayla, and Reyna? With what? You have KO, you have Reyna flashes, you have like a Clove Medal. Sage, you're playing Jett at the end of the day. Who's gonna stop you? Like, considering enemies' early positioning, and of course the team composition as well, just go 3 rounds in a row for a 5-man push on B, test the enemies on the B completely, and then in a 4th round we can do some kind of a fake or change things a bit based on how our 5-man executes on B side actually worked. Now listen, as I already said at the start of this VOD review, only God knows if your teammates are gonna listen to you. 50% of times they will, 50% of times they won't. But if you never try, they're not gonna listen to you 100% of the times. And you will consistently need to adapt to every bullshit that they do. Now, yes, we need to go mid, like. But we need to tell our Clove to do that smoke for the top mid, like. We cannot be pushing the mid area of the map without top mid smoke. I mean, like, if we had a smoke for top mid, we don't even need to aim up there. Now listen, whenever your teammates are starting in the mid area of the map, always start with them, start with the tiles. Because from the tiles you can immediately pick this fight with your allies on the left side, and from this position, it is like, in this position here, your teammates have far higher chances of dying, especially if they don't have a top mid smoke, than dying on top mid right here. Like, always start from the tiles. You have like 2 options. You can play with a guy on the left, guys on the left, and guys on the right as well. But when you start here, you're not really in control of every single, most of the fights that can happen in this area of the map.
Spike down mid.
And this is what I'm talking about. Like, this is absolutely stupid. I mean, I don't care how you died. Yes, you could have killed that Reyna. Yes, you could have used the dash ability. I don't give a shit about that. Why are we even contesting the enemies on mid like this? And why we didn't try persuading our teammates to do something else better, which is a clean 5-man execute. The execute on the A side was not even bad. Like, you actually had proper smokes. Your teammates played a bit faster without clearing the angles, but if you have aggressive teammates that are that bad, just follow them up, use them as a decoy, use them as a recon tool, and that's it. But this is just as, like, if you continue doing this during this attacker side half, we will just lose this match in the next, like, 5 rounds. We talked about his mechanical problems on the defender side. I'm not gonna repeat myself.
Keep up.
Okay, listen. When you're scaling up in the A main area of the map, if you have the long range weapons, always go from the right side. You know, clear this, clear this, clear this angle. Jump spot enemies in the elbow, and then move in with your allies and your teammates. If you have a close range weapon such as Stinger, you always need to go from the left side, holding this position first, and then from this spot, we're swinging on the enemies on the left side. Also, in this low elo, you can bait your teammates a bit more. Most of the times, what type of teammates you're gonna have at this skill level, like, very rarely you're gonna have a good recon utility at this skill level. Very, very rarely. So what you can use is, like, you can use your most aggressive teammates as a recon utility, basically. If your Reyna is already gonna do this, let her go first, and just always be ready to fight the enemies on every single angle on which that Reyna can fight them. With the Stinger we can scale up here, then when the Reyna is getting in this type of a fight, bam, bam, we're there to refrag her. Reyna is running towards the elbow. We run towards the elbow, clear every angle that she didn't clear, apparently. And you're always ready to use her as a Sova drone and as a tool to fight enemies together. Also, listen, man, like, if you want to use a one-way smoke there, like, first clear, like, I feel that you're peeking these angles however the fuck you want. And you're not peeking them with an intention to fight the enemies, or you're not even expecting the enemies here. Like, especially on these common off angles and common positions, you should be always mentally and physically ready for that fight. Clearing this spot with the intention that maybe enemy Vele is up there, enemy Jett, enemy Raze, someone, I don't know. Sage with a wall. Then checking this spot, and then you focus on everything else. And if you want to use a brief one-way smoke there, okay, we can drop it like this, and then focus on the enemies, like, don't drop it like that, drop it like this, and focus on the enemies on the elbow. If you just want to instantly smoke that, just curve the smoke, and now swing that angle, and take space a bit faster. Listen, whenever you get stunned in Valorant, you get blinded, you get hindered, something bad is happening to you. Your instant autopilot reaction as a Jett player should be to smoke yourself off, and your teammates as well. Like, that should be something that is on your autopilot mode 24/7 as a Jett main. Especially if you're in an area of the map that is fully overexposed, you have no cover at all. Like, you get blinded here. That's what you do. Like, you try to escape, but even if you have a bad movement, okay, smoke is gonna protect you anyways before the flash expires. But just trying to escape without using a smoke, this is gonna happen and you're gonna die like a potato. Once again, you need to engage, like, into some, like, listen, like, I personally, don't give a shit about ranked anymore and about grinding Valorant and stuff like that. Like, I gave up on IGLing like 3 years ago, when I got, like, Radiant for 15 or 16 times, I don't know. Like, if you wanna go higher in Valorant in an easier way, we need to start telling our teammates what to do, at least on a macro level. Like, the callouts don't need to be anything specific or any high levels IGLs callouts. They're just the basic stuff. Reyna, let's try a 5-man push together on A. don't go mid. Hey guys, we're getting fucked on mid. Can we have a top mid smoke? Hey guys, maybe we should test the enemies on B because Sage is not playing on the B site and see how the execute is gonna work there. Like, the easiest way for you to win the games on the attacker side in the ranks between Iron 1 and Diamond 3 is just relying on the 5-man executes early on. If you don't test that for the first 4 to 6 rounds, you're doing a huge gamble. A huge gamble that is like splits are gonna work, that your teammates are gonna take some super good solo fights, that your teammates are gonna like not clear the angles properly when they're fighting in these crossfire setups, and the list goes on. Like, so many bad things can happen. Yo, Razon, welcome, man. How to increase game sense? I feel too hard to control information in a match. But there's a few trainings that you can do for that, but it's too long to explain right now. Maybe I'm gonna make a video about that. It's gonna take me like 20 minutes to explain fully. Wow, even if you don't get a coaching, this guy is giving such a great info live. You're very cool. Okay. Am I getting Deja Vu, or did you tell the same thing a few days ago? Maybe. I mean, like, I don't know. Do you care more about buying skins than you do 24 Radiant push, or is it more? What? Which skins, bro? Like, I'm never gonna buy a single Valorant skin ever again. I was watching your streams recently and I thought it's okay to give up with IGL and just let them do whatever they want, and maybe... But listen, like, in 50% of the games that you play in ranked solo queue, like, it is far more important how you adapt to the bullshit in which your teammates put you in, rather than IGLing your teammates. Because, especially if you're playing in regions such as Europe, some of the Asian regions and stuff like that, like, these people are mentally disabled most of the time. Like, nobody speaks at all. Communication is forbidden. So adaptiveness is far more important. But you should still give it a try. At least for the first 4 to 6 rounds on the attacker side. On defense, you can always adapt. On defense, you don't need to have a high-level strategist to fuck up the enemies. You can almost always adapt to any bullshit. But on attacker side, like, I mean, as I said, like, doing a B split in the first round. In the third round, doing a 5-man push on mid. In the fourth round, Arena like is lurking through mid. What are we doing, man? This is a very good time to talk about economy.
Then fall near me.
Just a moment. I need to take a piss first. Okay, so we talked about the economy very, very in-depth on a defender side. But this is one exception that I briefly mentioned during that talk. So basically, right now your teammates are doing some kind of a half buy and eco, but you have a lot of credits. What do? Like, in this type of rounds, you spend every single credit that you're not going to use in the next round, because every single like piece of utility, shield, or gun that we get right now can give us higher chances of winning this round. So right now with 7,450 credits in the next round, but you can go with a Vandal and Light Shield, for an example. Or Phantom and Light Shield. Like, it's a totally valid option. And it's gonna give you much higher chances of winning this round, rather than playing with a fucking Bulldog, bro, and Light Shield. Did you really go for the Bulldog and Light Shield? And Sheriff? What is this buy option? Listen, I mean, in this round, you also could have gotten... You had many options. You can go Stinger, Heavy Shield, 2 smokes. You can go Bulldog with the Heavy Shield. You can go with, I don't know, Spectre and Heavy Shield. You can go with a Judge and Light Shield and Sheriff, or Judge and Heavy Shield. Vandal and Light Shield. But, like, you have money for a Heavy Shield. And you're combining Sheriff with the Bulldog. That doesn't exist. Like, just waste of money. And that Heavy Shield might be very important for us right now. Because, like, if I was in the enemy team and I see that you're playing a bit of a half buy, you don't have money for the full buy, I'm definitely getting the Outlaw. And I'm gonna fuck you up. Or at least the players that I'm coaching at this skill level are gonna fuck you up.
Keep up.
Listen, if your teammates are running like this, always run in front of them and jump spot the angles for them. Because the jump spot mechanic is forbidden for your teammates. Now, as fast, you know, depending how fast your teammates are scaling up, depends how fast you should move as well. Like, if your teammates are just running, run with them and be ready to fight on every single angle on which they can also pick a fight. Like, majority of your problems when it comes to just playing Jett is just that you need to be a bit lighter on this dash ability. Like, that was like your biggest issue with Jett on both attack and defense. I mean, here, like, we're even if you don't go for an execute right now, we're still in an open area of the map. Enemies didn't smoke off this choke point, but there is a very high chance we're gonna get in a fight anyways. And if your teammates are already destroying the wall, you have a knife down, Reyna putting the Leer. Already at this moment of time, you're activating a dash ability and getting ready to either scale up and take some space for your allies, do some execute, or just pick a fight with the enemies with the dash ability. Like, for example, the only reason why this execute was bad, like, I don't know, your claw was jerking off their pussy or cock, I don't know anymore what the fuck that is. Somewhere on mid, we didn't have the smokes for the execute at all. You need to correct that. You need to tell your, like, look at this, like, what the fuck is this smoke setup, for an example? Like, this doesn't exist, like, ever. Like, there's not a single scenario on Sunset where you have this type of a smoke setup. That's number one. And number two, we needed to move in. We needed to scale up. If your teammates are already going in, send it. Fuck it, let's use that Reyna to fight the enemies, to open the site. Huh? Ah, we have a revive.
Enemy spotted B.
Crosshair placement here, this is something we didn't talk about. You know, we talked about the vertical crosshair placement a lot on a defender's side, but we never talked about the horizontal one. Listen, how far you should hold angles with your crosshair placement depends which angle you're holding and what type of peek you anticipate from the enemies. First of all, if you're holding the angles as tight as your reaction time allows you. Like basically like this. You should always hold for the furthest enemy peak. Like this. And we are trying to catch the enemy's wide swing. If you don't hear the enemy's sound or footsteps, we hold the angles closer to the wall from which enemies can jiggle peek us, crouch peek us, walk into us, or jump spot us. If you already hear the enemies running at you, you hear the footsteps, hold the angle a bit wider. Like you cannot hold this angle like this. We need to hold it like this. We're anticipating a bit wider swing. I hear you actually, you know, you heard enemies running at you.
Enemy spotted B.
We hear the enemy Reyna using a leer. Probably, you know, chances that they're gonna go for some kind of a slow peek, jiggle peek, or a crouch peek here is very low. Like this is the crosshair placement you have maybe like if you think enemies are walking, you know, or jiggle peeking this angle. But I'm gonna slow it down for you. So if we had a crosshair here, for an example, these enemies will just run into your crosshair, and right here you could have caught this movement and this peak of the enemies just with a crosshair placement. No flicking, no nothing. 1 or 2 free kills for you. But now you need to micro correct, micro adjust, like, and you're just losing the time to delete these enemies.
Oh yeah.
Generally speaking, like, you know, the problem with this game is just how we play on a macro level. And timings. Literally, and basic utility usage. Like, the problem is not even the fights that we take, how we take the fights. Like, the problem is, like, we're not moving in. We're not following our allies. We're not executing the sites at all. Smokes are non-existent. And all of this is easy to fix. Like, you need to tell your teammates 2 sentences. And we might start winning the rounds on attacker's side. Now, once again, you have 3 teammates starting on mid. I would just let my Reyna lurk and do whatever the fuck she wanna do. We need to fight with our teammates on mid. For 2 reasons. Reason number 1, they already died once in that area of the map. And reason number 2 is, like, they never do a top mid smoke. So, yeah, that's gonna be interesting. And basically here, it really doesn't matter what you and Reyna do in the A main area of the map. Even if you kill 3 enemies on A site right now, but your whole team dies on mid with a spike, you're gonna be the one in a disadvantage.
I've got your trail. You had your fun. My turn.
Even here, like, you know, everything that you're doing right now is just a waste of time. An absolute waste of time. Like, right now, what we should be doing is playing, once again, with our teammates on mid. Decent job in the aiming area of the map. We wasted the Sky Dog, Sky Ultimate. Sky has nothing to defend A site. Now, all we need to do is deal with the enemy Clove. We make a 4v3 numbers advantage. The round is over. We can just send it B, send it A, reset the round, and that's it. You want to go for the solo plays on the attacker side only when team play is absolutely impossible, when your executes are not working at all, and when you think that you can get a free pick while your teammates stay alive, and you can make a free numbers advantage for your allies, or like if you're in some kind of a huge disadvantage, and we need to make some solo play. Here in a 4v3, you know, now when the Clove dies, all we need to do is stick together, reset the round, go either A main or B main, and just do a basic execute. Long time ago, our friend Pudding should have been like in mid, fighting these enemies at the start of the round. And I told you, like, if your teammates are fighting in mid, always prioritize taking the fights with your allies that are right here in front of you at the tiles. These teammates always have higher chances of dying because enemies can pick them in the market from 3 different angles. One enemy can maybe be here, one here, one here, one here. Your teammates from top mid, I mean, they're kind of, they just need to fight basically here when you're at the tiles. And this is the only angle from which they can die, and you cannot refrag them at all. Which is okay, whatever, like, we need to risk something. That's one way to engage the enemies, I guess.
Oh, behind.
Down mid.
Okay, so what do we do in this 2v2? We just play together, stick together, and right now you are running on A site. You know that Reyna is market. We know that Vele is top mid. Let's go A, plant the spike, and play together.
I got the spike.
Can go A. I think you could go okay.
What are we clearing? Okay, listen. Like, you definitely have a... I mean, it's normal for a player of, you know, your skill level that has a huge problem when it comes to map awareness and general tracking of enemies. There's 5 to 6 different trainings that we can do for this specific problem. I'm gonna share with you one solution that is probably gonna improve your map and general awareness by maybe like 20, 30, 40%. If that solution doesn't work, we'll move on to something different. But this, you know, this cannot happen to you. Basically, whenever you're not fighting enemies, whenever some icon pops up on the minimap, whenever like you're doing nothing at all, you're not even holding the angles, you should be looking at the minimap and gathering the info for your next move.
Oh, just go A. They're way in mid.
Jump spot. I mean, you knew that Vele was top mid, that one enemy was top mid. We lost a lot of the time for this rotation. Whenever you're making shit tons of sound, and you need to be the first one to fight the enemies, in an area of the map where enemies can be anywhere, just do this. It costs you nothing. And, you know, one good thing in low elo, in every rank below Ascendant 1, essentially, is that very rarely you will die during a jump spotting mechanic. Almost never. You won't even tank a bullet, even if you jump spot this wide in these lobbies. Because players are just mechanically really bad. And they're bad at anticipating this type of shit. So you can get away with a lot of crap at your skill level. But still, not using certain mechanics, certain abilities, that's gonna cost you a lot.
One enemy remaining.
A lot. Okay, so what do we do in this 2v1? Basically, the best advice I can give you for this type of a 2v1 is whatever your KO does, you do that as well. Whatever the monkey does, you do what monkey wants to do. Just make sure that you're able to refrag your KO at any moment of time on every angle that he is fighting at that moment. And of course, try to bait the shit out of your KO and let him take a first fight. Now, you're not baiting the KO to take a solo fight. We're baiting a KO in a way where he is giving us the info about the Waylay, but as soon as he gets in a fight with the Waylay, in 0.5 to 1 second, you're ready to swing out and take the fight with that Waylay. So, KO can stay there. We can leave him in that position. We don't give a shit about him at all. And all you need to do, because we know that Waylay is somewhere, you know, in the CT or A-Link, is this. Now you're just chilling. You have a proper crosshair placement for the swing in A short. If he fights on A short, the Waylay, bam, 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 easy kill. If he fights on the site, instant swing, we're there to play with our KO. If you die first, or you split away from your ally in this 2v1, God help you. Like, at that point we're gambling a lot. Oh no. Oh no. But again, he cannot be there! Ooh, dude, the smoke! Actually, even better. Now you can literally camp inside of the smoke together with your KO. And when the KO swings out, you swing out together with him.
Drop in a smoke.
Which country are you from, boss? Czech Republic. No, man, your levels of awareness are kind of, you know, it's normal for a player of your skill level. Like, I want to say criminal, but we all have to start somewhere, obviously. Like, you know, like, no one started being a Radiant player in this game. But we need to work on this. We need to work on this problem, to be honest. Like, you know, here for an example, you're moving into the site, you're planting the spike. Your KO did a knife. He revealed the Vele. How we don't have this information? How do you don't have this info that Vele is either A short or top mid? I mean, you can hold your back now. Maybe she went back. I don't know, like, but how should we play this scenario? You can just stay here, behind this boxy box, covering the back, but you're still close to the box, so that you can swing out in every single fight that KO takes. Now, this ultimate from the KO, I don't know.
Elbow.
I don't know what the hell. Okay, now we got the info. Play with the KO. Play with the KO. Play with the KO. Play with the KO.
我諗正嘅把聲。
Once again, you have two teammates starting mid. Start with a mid. Like, like, you will never make a mistake if you do that. Literally never. You will never make a mistake by playing with this guy in the tiles. Literally never. At the end of the day, at least we're gonna have a full mid control. You know? And chances that your teammates are gonna die in B main are far, far lower than your teammates in mid making some kind of a mistake. Check the top of the wall. Check the top of the wall. Okay, we're back fighting on mid.
Refreshing. Healing.
Once again, you run at the same speed if you have the knife out and the Jett knives as well. So if you already use the ultimate, there's never a moment of time where you pull your knife out. Now, that here is the problem of that we already explained on a defender's side as well. Like, you lose information in any area of the map. For even 2 or 3 seconds, you behave towards that area of the map like the enemies will be there and can be there. And you clear it carefully. It doesn't matter if you're playing on attack, on defense, as long as you don't see all of the enemies on the minimap. Or you don't know where are all of the enemies. We'll check. This angle here. This angle here. And this position here. Like an enemy is gonna be there. So, you know, if you're doing this rotation back onto the A site, we can check, you know, this, check this, check this, check this. Now you move forward. These type of deaths cannot happen to you. Ever. Like, the best way to play Valorant, especially in low elo, is by being fully paranoid that enemies can be anywhere. Like, every angle that you're approaching, even if you have 4 teammates in front of you, you need to check, and you should check. Because you just don't know what enemies are gonna do, how well your teammates are gonna clear the angles, how good of a utility they're gonna use, and you need to play Valorant like that. Do you have any quick tips for inconsistency? I have a full-on video, like, talking about consistency in Valorant on my main YouTube channel. Check it out. I think it's literally called something like that. Like, how to be consistent in Valorant. How to... Yeah, I think something like that. I don't know. Ooh. Now we have... At least we have a proper smoke for mid now. Everything that you're doing now is just waste of time. You know, if you're not doing some kind of a fast split on A, and we're just fighting for the mid control, once again we have the same problem that we had in every round. Basically, you know what you're doing. You're gambling a lot at this skill level that your teammates are going to win these 50-50 fights. Especially on these angles that don't work in a favor of defender side players. And that is the gamble that you're kind of never willing to take in ranked solo queue.
Okay, open.
At least he used the dash ability. At least he used the dash ability, if nothing else. One more time, I need to repeat because yesterday we did a defender side. On defender side, we covered every single mechanical problem that he has. With the movement, with the peeking and stuff like that. All of these mistakes, they need to be fixed with weeks of training and doing a proper training. Like, there's not a, you know, I gave him all of the most important tips, but this needs to be trained like in a custom server deathmatch and practice range 24/7. Bucky. And we're going mid. Without a smoke top mid. That's gonna work. Especially in eco rounds. You know, when you're playing eco on an attacker side. In low elo, you should never allow your teammates to do some kind of a split, lurk, flank, or default. It's usually not gonna end up well. Like 80% of times, you will just lose that eco round without maybe even getting a kill. I'm in push somewhere. If I'm in B, if I'm in A, stick together, fight together, die together. Win together. Also one mistake that is very common, not only in your elo, like in a lot of ranks in Valorant, is sound. The problem of sound. Like, here, your KO made 20, like he is stomping like an elephant behind you. Enemies know that we are in the B main area of the map. Enemies are ready for us. Like, no matter what type of silent play you want to make. Let's say you want to slowly push the B main area of the map. You know, you tell your teammates, hey guys, let's push the B set on contact. And let's push it like this. One player makes a footstep like this. Run. Like, we already gave out our position. In ranked solo queue, players are already gonna scream like, what? They're B, they're B, they're... You know, like, there's no proper communication. In ranks, we need to run. Enemies are gonna anticipate us, they're gonna be ready for us. Maybe they're gonna call for rotation. There's no reason to walk right now.
To mid.
Keep in mind that hindering abilities and slorbs slow you down. You know, cut your dash ability by 50%. So, yeah. Okay. You know, it's alright what he did here, overall. How he tried to play with this Reyna, and it's okay. Now it's gonna be very important what he does next. Like, for example here, you ended up 2v2. You know that enemy Sky is market. You know that enemy Sage is CT. Your KO is in the middle of the bomb site. What do? You reposition towards the KO. KO is very low HP, and we need to use him to separate enemies into 2 versus 1 fights. I mean, one of the easiest things to do in low elo is separating enemies in individual fights that don't work in their favor. You know, during these type of retakes, you know, especially 2v2, most of the times, like, these players are not gonna stick together. Like, one guy is gonna play here, one guy here, and if you just stick to the butthole of your teammate, we can take 2v1 fights on both of these positions. Unless the enemy Sage is actually a smart guy and he actually goes for a revive in market.
I've got your trail.
Last player standing.
But usually these players are not smart. So if we played with our KO right now, instead of staying in this position, and we focused on taking that 2v1, we would not have been in a position as bad as this one. Once again, like, you get nearsighted, you get, like, flashed, stunned. Use your smokes. Cover yourself up. Cover the angles.
One enemy remaining.
Play them.
Very winnable. Very winnable. Like, there's no way you lose this, right? You can just go behind a phone booth, and we would just wait for Sage to tap the spike. You have the updraft, dash ability, 2 smokes. Round is over. Wait. Okay, even better. Sage is on the right side. Dash ability. Let's go.
Kill my allies.
Oh, man. But you killed that clove, bro. Like 2 seconds ago. Okay, I cannot help you with the Alzheimer.
Stairs. Go mid. You're in mid.
Ciao.
Go.
Ala bodoh.
That's right. That's fun.
Once more.
I'm speechless, basically. Sorry for all the questions, but can you settle a debate I'm having? On attack, as a duelist, is it more important to make space on plant site and get the team on, even if you die, or is high frags overall more important? So what is important for you as a duelist during 80% of your executes? Is that you take the space for your team, you survive, and you fight together with your allies. That should be always your #1 priority. Nothing else kinda matters.
This is gonna be fun.
Switching to my left hand, I mean, if you need to do it. Like, it makes sense if you injured your eye, left eye or something. I don't know. Now, this is some problem that we didn't see in the previous, rounds, but this cannot happen to you during the executes. And what's very important on the attacker side, especially in low elo, is that you're always keeping and always adjusting your pacing based on what your teammates are doing. That is far more important than outplaying the enemies. Like here, for an example, if your Reyna wanna run like this, you run with her. And you make sure that you can fight on every single angle on which she's gonna fight. We cannot sell this guy for nothing.
Enemy spotted A. Ultimate is ready.
Ah, you meant switching to the left hand as hand in real life. Well, I mean, like, if you need to do that, like... I thought a model, like, I thought he hurt his eye, bro, or something. Like, literally, I don't... brother, I think I can aim better with my feet than with my left hand.
Your duty is not over.
You see, this is a problem that also cannot happen in your gameplay. You know, in these lobbies. Like, your Reyna
Ultimate is ready. Your duty is
dying like this, and you're not ready to fight with that guy. And that is the easiest problem to fix. Like, just, you know, scale up with that guy. Be faster. Run. In Valorant, it's always better to... I mean, most of the times, it's better for you to fight together, kill together, die together, lose together, win together. But selling this guy for nothing when he's already a really good drone for you. Once again, like, you need to relax a bit. You know? Like, what is refrag game and refrag potential? Like, refrag game, in this example, would... Okay, listen. Let's talk about this topic just briefly. Because it's probably the last topic for this VOD review. So, a proper team play is a team play where you're always able to take the fights together with your allies. In a proper team play, like, you should always be positioned in a way where you can take a fight with your teammates on every single angle at the same moment of time. But you also have a chance not only to refrag your allies, but also to save their life and make them live to fight another day. Now, a lot of the players, like, are gonna force some fights because of that concept of refrag potential. But refrag potential in this scenario here has been gone a long time ago. Like, a proper refrag here and a proper fight with this Reyna would have been something like this. You hide here, Reyna takes this fight, Reyna gets blinded, we fight with that Reyna. But you being 2-3 seconds behind the Reyna, this is not any fight that works in your favor. We're not surprising anyone anyways. And now we need to wait for this dash ability to activate properly, and then we can take a fight. Or activate the dash ability, jump spot to see where did the sky position, and now with a proper crosshair placement and peeker's advantage, get that guy out of the server. Like, a lot of the players are rushing things out because of this refrag concept, but they don't understand it properly. Like this right here that he did is just a complete 50. The guy was already dead. Sky is expecting another player here. This is just a 50-50 fight without even using a dash ability properly. And without peeking this guy with a proper crosshair placement or anything. Are we gonna win this match?
player.
Apparently. 13-11, huh? Okay, let's see the next round. Brother, this match should have been over 6 rounds ago.
Kill all your opponents.
Now, let me just give you one tip here. So, you give some kind of a call out to your allies. Any call out. It doesn't matter what it is. You spend 3 to 4 seconds looking at the minimap to see if your teammates are listening to that call out. If they are not listening, you adapt to them. If they do listen, you just follow up the call out. And that's it. Like here, once again, you have 2 teammates mid. Fight with them. Anyways, in this match, like, Enemies never fought us in the B main area of the map. When is the last time enemies fought us in the first round? Not even then, like, then the sky did a dog. Your Sage and K are gonna waste their time here, destroy the wall, like, but your Clove and Reyna. God help us now. And if you need to pray to God to win a round of Valorant, we've done something terribly wrong. To begin that round, even. During this whole game, we didn't see one single proper execute. It is time for you to study that ranked playbook on my Discord server, but seriously. Seriously. Your pathing, your scaling, your executes. Criminal. Very criminal. Like, you need to spend some time outside of the game as well. Like, in my ranked playbook on Discord server, I covered every single Jett execute on every single map. Take the notes down, practice them in a custom server, practice the proper pathing, proper utility usage for 15, 20, 30 minutes per day. Because if you're just gonna spam the ranked games and play like this, you're just gambling. You're just brute forcing your way up instead of grinding this game in an efficient way.
Begins.
This is why jump spotting mechanic is so important. Like, literally, I mean, during this gameplay, he did on jump spot once. But we need to start doing it. It's okay, this fight, very good. Muy bien. Getting at the backside to clear the CT and backside, also muy bien. Very good. But you cannot swing this angle like this. Why? Enemies can be anywhere here. They can be up here, behind this cover, open. Like, instead of relying on proper swing and crosshair placement, we're making the sound and swinging the enemies however the fuck we want, and we rely on our micro adjustments and reaction time to kill this guy.
One enemy remaining.
Okay. B-man, B-man. Okay.
Attackers.
Funny game, funny game. Let me just check something quickly. Funny game. Look at the bottom right side here. My guy, he is under like, my guy is under a lot of pressure. It's like he's playing a VCT game, bro. Look at his leg. My dude is playing for a rank up match to Radiant, bro. No chill, huh? Okay, I'm glad that you included this like hand cam down here, but like you have so many different mechanical problems to focus on, and personally, I wouldn't touch your grip style or sensitivity at all. Like, first, let's do some proper aim training, mechanical training, and then we can maybe talk about your sensitivity or grip style and stuff like that, because that's not your problem. Like, the problem is how you take the fights. The problem is how you pick the enemies, how you engage them. Crosshair placement, micro corrections, adjustments don't exist apparently for you. And the gunplay with different weapons is... Ay, basically. Ay. Okay. Okay. Overall, a very interesting VOD review, considering it was only a Bronze 3 player. We covered a lot of the topics that are important for basically every player that is between Iron 1 and Diamond 3. And I'm gonna hit you up through private messages and share with you the training and everything that you're gonna do for the next 2 to 3 months. All of these problems, very easy to fix, very fast to fix as well. I don't think you're gonna need more than 3 months to fix 80% of this shit that we covered during this VOD review. And I kinda expect you to hit like Platinum or maybe even Diamond in the next 3 months. If you actually commit to the training, of course. Okay. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment. If you want to get my private coaching, join my Discord server. If you want to get a playbook for every single map in Valorant, join my Discord server as well. And that's gonna be it. I'm already losing my mind. That's gonna be it for this one. Thank you for watching and see ya in the next one.